from 6 teams, we are now down to our last two grand finalists. This is going to be a best of 5 grand finals. This is BRE versus PSO. Kami yung magiging shoutcasters. So nga pala si Butters.
At ako, si Wolf, this is already yung pinakahuling series natin mapapanood
Yes.
for this season, for season 1, by the way. So, hindi pa natin alam kung ito na ang una o huling season, pero for sure marami pang Mobile Legends action dito sa Nationals. But we have to set our eyes and all of our hearing, everything, all our senses for this particular matchup. It's the Grand Finals. And you know what, Kuya Butters, madaling sabihin na nagmatter yung dating mga conferences. But if you think about it, it all boils down to this. I mean, PLDT Smart Omega, this is their road to glory. One of a kind, the Grand Slam for Mobile Legends. At ang Bren ePro from the ashes ng kanilang sabihin natin hindi ganun kagandang performance come Conference 1 and 2. Now, straight up, does have the chance against PLDT Smart Omega.
So this is the Grand Slam versus the Redemption.
Oo.
This is the Grand Slam versus the Redemption. But right now, PLDT Smart Omega versus Bren ePro, madami silang pinagdaanan para makarating dito. And we can only have one champion. Right now, tignan natin nga yung mga pinagdaanan nila. Conference 1, Conference 2. Conference 1, ang ganda pa rin ng ano eh. Ang ganda ng transition nila papuntang Conference 2. Si Exhort, ang ganda ng performance ngayon. And that really led them for the win. But right now, for Conference number 2, doon nag-step up lahat ng members ng PSO.
You know what? Ang ganda isipin para sa, on a franchise perspective ang nangyari sa PLDT Smart Omega. Conference 1 champions 3-0 sa Grand Final. Sobrang ganda ng record during the group stages and even dun sa playoffs. And then you will say, siguro, pag ganito na yung recipe mo, bakit mo papapalitan yung mga ingredients? But we know, Conference 2, nagbago sila na kanilang mga members dito. Nawala yung mga nasa championship team nila. Even Exhort was not part of Conference 2. But it's the same beast ang PLDT Smart Omega. Parang walang nangyari. In fact, parang mas gumanda pa nga, like you said, yung kanilang performance because everybody stepped up and they gathered these great players na acquire nila. Like acquiring Hayes was just so good para sa PLDT Smart Omega. And nag-reflect na naman yung kanilang malupit na performance sa Conference 2. Sino ang tamang team na yung Conference 1 championship team mo, babaguhin mo for Conference 2. And only the brave, only the bold can do that. PLDT Smart Omega did the right thing to do this.
Ito yung sinasabi natin. Sinasabi mo, Kuya Wolf, na formula. Ito nga ba yung formula para makuha yung Grand Slam? Kasi proven and tested na. 2 conference wins. Ito na lang yung nag-iisang dapat nilang kunin para kahit papano masabi talaga na ito na talaga yung proven and tested na formula para sa lahat ng seasons.
Oh, sure. You know what? I'm so excited about the game. I think we will have game number 1 after this break. So wag na wag ang aalis dahil magbabalik ang The Nationals.
Welcome back to the Nationals. We are live and I'm reporting to you guys from courtside. Ako nga pala si Leo and it's time for this best of 5 series. It's the grand finals and the season 1 finale of Mobile Legends Bang Bang at the biggest esports event in the country. In 2020, still running. May chance pa silang mag-Grand Slam. PSO going up against Bren E Pro, who, as our caster said, came up from the ashes in the lower bracket, mowed through Signal, mowed through Happy Feet Emperors just earlier today, and are on fire. Mga kaibigan, Brenny Pro is fielding a very well-protected lineup. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi pa natin nakikita masyado kung ano yung mga sikretong tinatago nila at kung ano matadala nila dito sa Land of Dawn. And they're going to be giving our defending champions a run for their money. PSO, having lost a few members, as you saw from their lineup coming in from Conference 1 and 2, will still be a very strong force to be reckoned with. Will we see a god bleed in this 5-game series when Brenny Pro might come on top, or will PSO finally show us that they are our Grand Slam champions? Pinagsama ko na Grand Slam yan. Kasi nagkamali na ako noong first lower bracket finals. Sabi natin 3 games, but Brenny Pro still showed us something else. Let's get to it. We would like to thank our broadcast partners. Watch the Nationals on Pay TV at 1 Sports and EGG Network via Signal TV and on Free TV at 5 Plus via ESPN 5. And of course, the Nationals would like to thank PayMaya, our official digital payments partner. And make sure to get updated on social media. Follow the Nationals on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter via PH Nationals. Balik natin sa ating mga casters. It's gonna be Butters and Wolf. All yours.
At kukunin na nga namin sa'yo, Leo, maraming salamat. And that is true. Considering that Brent Kipro is coming in here with a new player.
Yeah.
Kasi ganito yung nangyari sa kanila, Wolf eh. Brent Kipro obtained 1 player while PSO lost 1 player. So, baka magkaibang side ng spectrum yun.
Yeah. You know what? Ang ganda nung tinanong dito ni Leo. Will God bleed this time? Ngayon ba magkakaroon na ng dent yung fresh, malinis na record ng PLDT Smart Omega? You know what? Conference 1, 3-0. Conference 2, so another 3-0 for PLDT Smart Omega. Is this the team? Is Bren Esports, Bren Pro, I mean, the team that will put a dent dun sa record ng PLDT Smart Omega? We are about to know. But this is interesting because Lord and Turtle stats, makikita natin through Conference 1 and Conference 2, yung PLDT Smart Omega always the leader. Because that's simply how they operate. Gustong-gusto ng PLDT Smart Omega na sila yung nakakuha ng important na macro objectives like Lord and Turtle. You can see 47, parang walang nakakalapit. And yung Lord Secure dito is also 17, 19 for Conference 2, 41 naman para sa Turtle. You know, you can honestly say that PLDT Smart Omega, they really want to secure these macro objectives.
And the thing about it is, yung Conference 2, Turtle takes sila, yung PSO. It's crazy to think na umabot pa sila ng 41 given that the meta shifted into a non-important Turtle take sometimes na parang hindi naman laging kailangan kunin eh. There are times na ibibigay mo sa kalaban yon tapos kukunin mo na lang yung turret. But at times, sobrang lakas talaga nila na dumarating na sa point na nakukuha nila yung turret, nakukuha pa nila yung turtle.
And you know what what the stats tell us is, lagi talaga nananalo, lagi nakakalamang ang team na mas pinaprioritize ang mga objectives, right? If you get the turtle, if you constantly get the turtle, if you constantly get the Lord, if you put emphasis on that, mas malaki talaga yung chance mo na manalo over opponents. It's always important to be battle ready. And I think that now, objectives, be it macro or micro objectives, matter so much. You know what? Nagkaroon tayo dito ng changes sa ating mapa. There's a difference now between a red buff and a blue buff,
Yes.
which is also very important. Now, meron pa tayong Lethal Wanderer. So, tinatawag nila ng famously known in the pro scene, in the pub scene as Repolyo, for whatever reason. The Lethal Wanderer giving you that mini healing, mini rejuvenation that you can get, which also amplifies your team fight and your objective taking. Grabe na talaga ang emphasis sa pag-overtake ng mapa ngayon sa ating laban.
And it really does give a lot of choices then for the teams to actually rotate on the map. Kasi may pagkakaiba na yung buff ngayon eh. So there is importance kung saan nag-start yung kalaban mo. If they started with the red buff, that actually changes yung pacing ng laban. If they went for the blue buff, ibang pacing na naman yun. So you really have to look at the little things na ginagawa ng mga kalaban mo para masabi mong kaya mo sila kontrolin.
Yeah. And you know what? I think Bren Ipro, after seeing yung ating semifinals or yung ating lower bracket finals kanina, we can really feel na sobrang prepared ng Bren Ipro. That's one thing that I will really commend about this team. When you look at their season finale performance sa kanilang laban versus Signal Ultra Warriors and now versus Happy Feet Emperors, I mean kanina, they were really prepared about it. They're now, meron pala tayo ditong interesting stats. Conference 2, most used spell pa rin ang Flicker. With,
Yes, of
you know
course.
what, even more ngayon na mas priority ng teams. And nawala yung priority with Retribution. And to be honest, Conference 2 showed us Revitalize, which is very important ngayon. Na gamit ng mga supports.
Yeah.
But Purify is still very important. So actually, ang talagang nawalan ng priority ngayon is the Retribution. And we rarely see sprints nowadays. Conference 1, there were many moments na parang tatlo yung nakasprint. I think I can still remember that composition where 4 sprint users and then 1 Retribution.
Yes.
Parang nakikita natin yun sa meta. But now, hindi na yun yung priority ngayon. I think that after the appearance of Lethal Wanderers at itong mga buffs na to, ang una ko naisip is, will Retribution get back sa meta? But apparently not. Flicker pa rin talaga ang ginugusto ng mga players natin ngayon.
Eh, nakita natin kanina, 5 flicker yung ginamit ng Bren Ipro just to close out a match. And on the
Yeah.
sprint side naman ng mga bagay-bagay, I just feel na nawalan ng importansya yung sprint ever since Arrival came in.
Pag-arrive ng arrival,
Oo,
kumbaga.
pagdating ng Arrival, ang nangyari kasi doon is, it's the same thing. It gets you onto the map na mas madali mong mahahabol yung mga kalaban mo. You can use it on destroyed turrets. So, ano pa yung rason
Yeah.
kung bakit mo gagamitin, di ba, yung sprint? Aside from actually using it on the heroes that actually benefit from it. Isa sa mga nagbe-benefit doon is most probably Akai. Na talagang kailangan lang ni Akai ng sprint just to silence or just to hold someone down.
And I think that there's a lot of importance ngayon sa Flicker pa rin.
Yes, of course.
We saw that in the previous series natin that Game 1, Bren Ipro, nagkaroon sila ng 5 Flicker composition. Game number 2, 4 na lang, yung isa Petrify on the Hellcurt, which poses a lot of
Kailangan
importance
talaga
pa rin. But we can see Bren Ipro really experiment with this kind of, sabi natin pocket strategy siya on its own.
Yeah.
But I think that going up against PLDT Smart Omega, we might see even more. Baka mas may mga pocket strategies pa tayo makita dito. Especially because PLDT Smart Omega is a team na sobrang lakas. Kailangan mo na talaga mag-isip, pag-invento ng bagong bagay bago sila matalo or even get one game away from them.
And what's scary about, well, one of the things na kailangan bantayan sa Bren Ipro is they just went for 2 Kimi strategies nung game, yung series 1 nila. So, ibig sabihin, para saan kasi ang Kimi na strategy, it's the basic of the basic. Parang every team can run a Kimi strategy if they want to.
Or more like, kailangan yung team nyo marunong mag-Kimi strategy.
Oo, parang nasa ganun siya. Parang alam mo yon, kung if you have respect sa team mo, you should know how to play a Kimi
Exactly.
lineup. So
Wow.
parang ganun talaga yung mga setup natin dito. They just use 2 Kimi lineups and I just feel na may ilalabas sila sa game number 1 na hindi pa natin ina-expect.
But now that we have the draft, Butters, the respect is real mula sa PLDT Smart Omega. First ban on the Kimi. PLDT Smart Omega did their homework. Laban ngayon sa
Your
Bren
team
Ipro
is
and X-Work as well. I have to take note, even in the previous series, no matter what happens prior ng Bren Ipro ang pagkuha ng X-Work.
It's their lineup eh. Kumbaga, it's their strategy. It's their comfort zone na they have this early game, sabihin natin early game heroes that can fight.
Your team
At
is
kapag
picking.
nakuha nila yung top turret, they actually win from that. So sabi na lang dito ng PSO, let's stop that. Huwag natin ibigay yung madaling mag-push and then just control. Kung ano man yung dapat control sa side ng BRE.
So now, ano ba mga available na heroes natin dito? Grok is there.
Grok.
Isa sa mga favorite ni Heath.
Your
Of course,
team is
one of the
picking.
best Grok players out there. Bruno is available. You know what? Hindi natin nakita si Farsa na nahawakan in the previous series. But now, since
Your
Bruno
team
is
is
available, it will be picked up by Bren Ipro to go with Thams. We did not see Farsa kanina, perhaps kasi mas priority ng Bren Ipro yung sarili nilang composition with
Ren
the Kimi.
Farsa.
Now, it's
Your
the
team
Granger
is picking.
to go with the Farsa.
They don't care. PSO, sabi nila, nerf lang yan, PSO kami. Sabi niya, nerf niyo yung Ranger as much as you want, but eto pa kayo yung gusto namin dito. Kasi ang pagkakaiba nila ng Ranger ngayon is, there are times na parang dati si Ranger kaya na lumaban agad at a certain point in the early game. Just get one item and you're ready to go. And that is a very unusual for a marksman to hold. But at the same time, ngayon, medyo kailangan niya ng skill.
Basha.
I just feel that two
Your
items
team
is the
is
sweet spot
banning.
ngayon para sa isang Ranger na talagang umikot-ikot sa may mapa.
To be fight ready, kumbaga battle ready.
And at the same time, two items isn't really that hard kasi yung isang kukunin mo parang cheppy item lang naman eh.
Yeah. And you know what? You have to take note na merong interesting na buff na pwede ko yung Granger to boost even
Yeah.
more yung kanyang,
Yeah.
which is the red buff.
Right buff.
Which, you know, you would think na yung normal attacks lang ang nagte-trigger or yung any attack skill. No. Actually, any form of
Your
damage
team is banning.
is affected by the red buff. So,
Converted to two, di ba?
it is. Parang nagpo-proc yun na kahit anong source of damage. So, that counts yung bola ni Bruno, for example, or even the power tricks of the Harley. That's why
Your
napipili
team
nga
is
naman
picking.
talaga yung Harley ngayon sa meta. It's just that hindi pa siya nagagamit ng mga teams like really famously ngayon. But Brenny Pro, when they will ban out the Valier, I think in the previous series they also put priority onto this Valier ban.
Esmeralda.
Now,
Your
Esmeralda
team is
is gonna be the
picking.
choice. Comfort picks.
I like the two picks na nanggaling din sa Brent Pro. Kasi one of the things na kailangan na dito sa backliner, and usually for a Farsa kasi, ang mga kinukuha dito madalas is yung mga assassins. Pero kasi inisip nila na merong Ranger itong kabila. So if the assassin gets caught out, sure kaming tutumba ng Ranger yun. So what they did was, ano nga ba yung mga gandang mga backliner na pwede? Baksha is a tanky hero. Esmeralda is
Jawhead.
tanky as well. Ibig sabihin,
Joe.
these are the heroes na hindi
Your team
ganun kadaling
is picking.
i-take down ng isang Ranger. So
Yeah.
might as well get the control on the Farsa at the
Natalia.
same time, get the extra tankiness na dinadala nila sa fight.
You know what, before we transition into talking about itong Natalia pick uli para sa Bren E Pro, na pinik ng the third place dito ng Bren E Pro, yung Baksha, tapos straight up Esmeralda. This is them saying na parang sinulit nila yung third and fourth slot dito na hindi nila pinigay yung Baksha para sa PLDT Smart Omega para dahil isa to sa mga comfort picks na PLDT Smart Omega. But also, if they want to get this Esmeralda talaga, and without the backshot, there's really no stopping yung sustain ng mga guys sa Esmeralda. But the last picked Natalia, once again, if you look back a week ago, you will remember, ginamit nila yung Natalia laban sa isang Farsa composition. It looked really, sabihin na natin, gimmicky in a way, but it kind of makes sense. It's your way to scout out where your opponents are. And yung Farsa, never ever magkakaroon ng comfortable spot kung saan pwede niyang gamitin yung Feathered Airstrike. Kasi every time na ikakastig yung channel niya yung Feathered Airstrike, nako, kailangan lagi siyang takot sa Natalia.
It is the same as a Franco and a Selena. Na parang, there's
5
always-
seconds
pagka
till
wala
the
yung
enemy
Selena
reaches
sa
the
mapa, or yung Franco sa
battlefield.
mapa, there's
Smash
always
them.
the time na pwede kang tamaan ng isang magandang
All
goal.
troops
And that's the
deployed.
same idea as the Natalia. So let us head on to the Land of Dawn, mga kaibigan. This is going to be PSO versus BRE. Game number 1. Grand finals na tayo ngayon.
We had finals already. And this is the Season 1 championship na pinag-uusapan natin. Not just the conference finals, not just the conference championship, but the champion of the season. It all boils down to this Game 1 of this best of 5 series. Malapit agad na pinapakita natin as Soshi gets and secures their own red buff. Interestingly, ang nangyayari kasi if you do play this Natalia is magkakaroon ka ng -1 in terms of your supporting cast, which kind of feels that Bren E Pro needs to make this early game perfect for themselves.
And kailangan ni Rafisha dito na mag-step up katulad ng ginagawa niya dati. Nung nag-kumpa siya, nung nagtatalya sila, it is very hard to tank alone. It is very hard to tank alone kasi isipin mo si Renzo dito. Yes, Renzo has a bit of tankiness then, but once the ultimate comes off, it seems like he's a normal hero again. Diba?
Now, the problem is level 4 na itong ating Farsa. But at that moment, Bren E Pro, they will just back out. The bigger problem already para sa Bren E Pro na nakikita natin ngayon is under-level talaga yung kanilang supports. All their supports, 1 minute 30 seconds in, they're just level 1.
ang ganda na pinapakita dito ng PSO on how they actually manage their XP. Na umaalis-alis si Haze minsan dun sa may range ng minions so that makuha ni Toshi yung buong XP. But right now, KLBJ gets called out. Wow, look at the connection mga kaibigan! KLBJ will be the first blood! Dito for the side of BRE, pero sumagot sila sa may baba. They will get that kill on Haze.
This is another classic hit Agi connection na nakita natin in the group stages. Ginamit yung Chang O usually ni Haji, and then you have hit with the Guardian's Barrier. This time, it's totally different. Hindi man Meteor Shower pinapata ni Haji, see, it's Feathered Airstrike. It's almost the same, and it's more targeted, and napakalupit na pinakita doon ng connection ng PLDT Smart Omega. Another one in the books for this team.
Ako, ang tawag ko doon, checkmate technique. Kasi kahit anong gawin mo, hindi ka na talaga makakatakas. But that is the way of the dragon for Kenji. And Hazel, 16 that kill on Rafflesia. About to the middle lane. Heath dito mga kaibigan. Kabunti ka mahuli.
This is such a good display of talent mula sa PLDT Smart Omega.
For sure.
Now,
JP dito,
JP.
actually eating a lot of those airstrikes. JP dito trying to fight this out. Pero Haji getting caught out. And this is one place na ayaw mo makita yung Farsa mo. Pero
Turtle
nag-get
resurrecting soon.
the assist.
Oh wow, this is Haze by the way with the jawhead, which kind of is a throwback back in 2017 or was 2018? Was 2018? Early 2018 na nakikita natin na whenever he cannot play the Cho anymore kasi nababan sa kanya, he plays the mean jawhead.
Alam mo, ang tagal na pala nung
Sobrang tagal.
it was actually late 2018. Late 2018.
Basta 2018 siya. Well, at least 2 years now.
Years now, yeah. But ang tagal na pala natin nagkaganito.
Yeah. Wow,
It is what
Jawhead
it is.
throwback. This is just a throwback. Kasi ngayon ang Jawhead, they are playing Jawhead as an offlaner nowadays. And before, sobrang valid niya na support slash tank and pang setup pang initiate. It's not that tanky anymore, but I guess with Ace, kausapin natin, kita mo naman yung setup na yun with the ejector, and he might even survive this. Surviving for long enough for JP.
Oh, look at JP!
Able to take it.
Pero
They take it
Kenji
down.
trying to get that kill. Pero the process, the pag-take nila ng kill sa Granger na yon, they lose 2 people into the
Exactly.
process. They give gold to the Granger, and that, Toshi is happy with that.
And they're not done. Bruno now sa top lane. Napatay dito Rafflesia wants to take down Kenji, but Kenji is ever so sleepy with this Cho. At walang magagawa yung ultimate dito ni Rafflesia as Haji Z threatens for a kill as well up top. PLDT Smart Omega back at their really superstar movements dito.
Oh, and that is another very first fight. Pero sabi ni Rafflesia, meron akong paggulong palaman. Alis na lang ako dito. But right now, another skirmish is happening to the bottom lane. Reed dito, a bit early on that retribution. Pero Renzo getting caught out and he's trying to fight it. Flicker in, pero Seth Sonata is there to seal the deal.
And it looks like they want to go for Haze. This time the jump in mula kay JP dito the time. Will be there. Patay dito yung Ranger. Now inabot nila si
Killing
Kid with the
spree.
unstoppable force. There's the ejector and of course Kenji to take the kill. PLDT Smart Omega hindi magpapataing. Mamatayan man sila ng isa, they will take 2 in return. All throughout the map, they are winning 15k in the back para sa PLDT Smart Omega. Only 12k for Bren E Pro.
And the Wave of the Dragon is there. Ejector palapit na sa may turret. And right now, the Flicker is there. Unstoppable force magagamit. Pero JP dito has something in mind na hindi may expect na kalaban niya. He just needs the Flicker. Nandun na sa harapan siya mismo dito ng Jawhead. And hindi masyadong magiging effective yung unstoppable force.
However, what they're not stopping right now is yung paglakas ng dalawang horse dito ng PLDT Smart Omega. Haji Z and Toshi are getting everything that they want. Even get a kill onto the Esmeralda this time. Napakagandang rotation mula sa PLDT Smart Omega. One thing you have to take note is napakabilis mag-converge dito ng mga members ng PLDT Smart Omega through a kill. You have to take note, Jawhead with unstoppable force, sobrang bilis maglakad. The movement speed is so high. And of course, the Grok, when near the walls, is also very speedy.
Oh, and actually, Greed stole the blue buff from that Farsa na retribution niya. And it's one of the things na ginagawa talaga ng isang Natalia. He can actually see kung ano man yung ginagawa dito ng kalaban and probably steal a few objectives in there. There also knock-up is there. Dito will be another casualty. But onto the backlines, Greed dito hinahamon niya mga kaibigan si Haji. Haji, nag-bird form siya dito pero does it matter? Will it matter? That is the question. That's so not. Hindi na tama pero the Wave of Dragon is still there. Granger will get the kill onto the Esmeralda. things are looking great for the side of PSO.
Definitely. You have to take note, napakaganda nung pinakita doon ni Heath. Mamaya natin pag-usapan, but Kenji will have to run away. Fortunately, isa siyang show. There's Shun po, there's Jit Kundo, kaya-kaya makalayo. You know what? Heath actually stopped the charging of the Moonlight, of the Falling Star Moon, I mean. Dahil doon sa kanyang wall charge, which is again, so much value. Hindi nila mamapatay agad si JP if not for that. I mean, IGC still died, but they were able to get something in exchange. Now, top lane, very unlikely to survive. Very squishy Natalia, samantala sa baba naman. Another kill for PLDT Smart Omega.
They did, yung Natalia pick nila, pinapunish sobra dito ni Kenji. To the point na yung Natalia, kesa nakakatulog siya at kesa nakakascout siya. This time around, pakandan ko dapat yung pero rapid siya dito will get ejected. Dun pa ba pero JP dito will be the next target. And one more could actually get that kill. Pero Toshi dito is going in and the crits, my goodness.
And hasty ng kipa yung dalawang atake ng Toreto just for Toshi to get away. PLDT Smart Omega on another level in terms of their synchronization talaga dito. Laban sa Bren E Pro. Bren E Pro, nakita natin tinry ni Bruno na iligtas yung kanyang tropa ng Esmeralda, but at the cost of him dying. Dalawang shots ng Death Sonata yung kinailangan niyang takihin doon. And one crit. Now, it sets up for this kill. This time, there's the dive. Unfortunately, this is Refresh and JP. Napakakunat nga naman. Even with PLDT Smart Omega leading in this map.
Grabe yung synchronization, grabe yung communication dito na side ng PSO to the point na parang sumasayaw sila dito sa isang musical. Nasabay-sabay sila halos sumalaw. And this is one of the things that makes PSO scary, pero Creed trying to take Farsa pero he doesn't have the damage to do so.
Level 11, si AGC with 6k in the bank. Natalia is just 3.4k. Essentially, half of the net worth of this Farsa. Tapos napakababa pa ng level niya. And to add to that, malambot talaga Natalia. You see that only 2 strikes of the Feathered Airstrike was enough. And now, Farsa is a problem para sa Bren E Pro. Kahit si Reflesha ka dito on that back shot, which is naturally very tanky, hindi rin tumatagal. Wala dito sa members of PLDT Smart Omega.
JP is doing great, but at the same time, JP can only answer one person to the side of PSO. He needs to choose. Do I answer Toshi? Do I answer Haji? Eh pareho to maganda yung performance eh. So at the same time, if you don't catch them with one Falling Star move, I don't really think that you can win a skirmish or a clash ngayon sa stage ng game ito.
And now top lane, now up.
Mega kill!
Another kid. This time Renzo should be backing down. There's the Feathered Airstrike. Reflesh ang target nila dito. Ang lambot. Oh, lawless strike! Mula doon sa Farsa. Enough para sa PLDT Smart Omega. Now KLVJ in trouble. And of course, Kenji to get the kill. How can they defend with 2 very squishy heroes this time? Renzo is a Thams. Pero at this point, hindi niya kaya to. Tako po, yun na naman. Huling-huli. PLDT Smart Omega, masterful performance. Laban sa Bren E Pro. There's the wipe and there should be game. PLDT Smart Omega take game 1.
One statement na pwede natin gawin doon sa game na yon is to never give out the Farsa this meta.
We can see that.
You might be confident na you know how to answer it with a Natalia, pero kasi you have to take into consideration that Natalia isn't really one of the best heroes. Yes, he is a direct answer. Pero kasi in terms of scaling, in terms of being a hero that actually contributes into a fight, parang nasa tagilid ka eh.
Yeah. I think that this is like a sort of a misconception mula sa Bren E Pro. Kasi medyo na-validate yung kanilang Natalia pick laban sa Farsa when they won against Signal Ultra Warriors. But you have to look at that game as not Natalia counters Farsa, but Natalia able to split push. Yun yung nangyari laban sa Signal Ultra Warriors. And clearly, PLDT Smart Omega are saying, hindi yan ang sagot sa Farsa. You have to look for something else. Hindi yung ganito ka-cheeky na lineup with Natalia's support and only the back shot for your front lines. Bren E Pro will have to look back sa kanilang playbook this time at ano pa talaga yung kailangan natin gawin dito laban sa PLDT Smart Omega. Do we ban out the Farsa this time? We will see.
But danger mga kaibigan. Toshinu. Ito yung sinasabi natin dito, MVP of the game. Hero lang ang naninerf. Hero lang ang naninerf.
Hindi ang player.
Hindi ang player. Toshi. just having a very good performance dun sa may game number 1. And kung ano man yung nagagawa dito ng Farsa, kaya din iba to ng isang Granger. Tatandaan natin na isang Farsa Granger composition is not about fighting the clashes head on. It's about abusing your range as one composition. Kasi kung isipin mo, feathered air strike, gano'ng kataas yung range, Death Sonata, gano'ng kataas yung range, at gano'ng ka-mobile ang isang Granger kapag binabato niya yung Rhapsody niya. It's all about the range game for the side of PSO's lineup nung game number 1 na yan.
And also, you have to take note, grabe yung mastery din ni Toshino with the Granger. There was one time na binato niya yung dalawang Death Sonata targeted kay KLVJ. Tapos si JP humarang or vice versa. Basta yung Bruto humarang. And then he knew exactly that he only needs that one crit bullet mula dun sa passive ng Granger to take down the Bruno. And we want to see more of that mula sa PLDT Smart Omega. Will we see that for game number 2? Malalaman nyo yan after this break. So huwag kayong alis dahil magbabalik ang The Nationals.
Alisan muna. Sayang. Wala ko yung... So, alam kung papaas pa ba namin. Kailan pa.
And we are back mga kaibigan. Okay ka lang. Chill ka lang muna.
Masyado ako nadala nung performance sa PLDT
Ah.
Smart Omega. Kasi we were watching the replay. And there's a lot of mastery talaga na pwede mong i-attribute din sa PLDT Smart Omega. Because nung nanonood ako ng ganito, parang, di ba, parang nagulat ako. But sobrang focused ko. I was kind of looking at how they were able to yung parang pag min-max eh. Like for example, yung movement ni Toshino na halos lahat ng Death Sonata niya tumama in the early game and through the late game. Tapos yung mga simpleng mga dash lang niya with the rondo, sakto yung distance niya. And then there was one time na nung nag-dive siya dun sa inhibitor sa baba, there was Haze na nakaabang dun sa Torre para siya yung ma-atake ng Torre and not the Granger. I think yung mga ganong klase movements, like mesmerize ka, you will say, PLDT Smart Omega is such a different level.
Communication, synchronization,
That's-
everything, like, just these are the fundamentals na parang alam naman ng lahat, pero only a few people polish it. Na parang sila, yung pinakaiba nila dun sa mga ibang teams is the other teams are 100% mechanically skilled. Pero kasi when you look back and you have solid fundamentals,
Yeah.
yun yung nag-separate sa'yo doon sa mga
Wow.
ibang teams.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think. Actually, I really do agree with you, Butters. I think that at this point, kailangan na nating tignan yung PLDT Smart Omega as a team that not only went for the top players. Parang hindi lang siya yung basta all-star team. They had the glue for all of these all-stars to work out together. And I think that it's a matter of like communication, mga ganong klaseng mga moments. And it's important to have great players, but it's even more important to glue them together.
Yun nga yung sinasabi natin dito, Kuya Wolf, na okay lang magkaroon ng sobrang gagaling na players sa isang team, basta kaya mo sila i-level. If you cannot level them, that's the only time that you will have problems. But if you can level them, glue them together, it's going to be an easy ride for you. Katulad ng pinapakita natin sa atin ngayon ng PSO.
Yeah, and I think here's si Valier once again for Brent Ebro. For the previous series, lagi rin nilang
Your team
binaban
is
itong
banning.
Valier. PLDT Smart Omega naman, the respect is there. They will ban out the Kimi. Might go for a Kufra ban or a Farsa, hindi natin alam. Kasi nakita natin in the previous game how important a Farsa is. And you might wonder, since first pick ang Brenny Pro, will they snatch this away from PLDT Smart
I
Omega?
just feel that PSO right now, they want to give BRP Farsa or I could improve it on. Pero parang hindi naman nila
Your
sila
team
yung
is
hindi takot
picking.
sa kahit anong meta pick. Na parang, sige, kunin nyo lang. Wala naman kaming pakialam. Kasi, in a way, alam namin kung paano gamitin yan. Alam din namin kung paano kontrahin.
And now you will think about the two teams or the two franchises and look kung paano sila mag-prepare. What I'm trying to say here is PLDT Smart Omega, ever since Conference 1 and Conference 2, I always say that they always look like a team that did their homework. Lagi silang handa. If there is a meta pick, for example, merong
Your
sobrang
team
gandang pick
is
like Lei,
picking.
for example, or Farsa, or Baksha, they know how to counter it exactly. If there's, lalong-lalo nung sumikat yung Chango, they are prepared against it. And now PLDT Smart Omega, they look like a team that's really not scared at all. Ibibigay nila yung Farsa because we know that they have not only one answer, they have several answers for sure. They have at least 5 or even more na strategies
Ranger,
laban sa
Hylos.
specific pick na yun.
Your team is
And it's really
picking.
scary to think about.
And look at PSO, not jumping the gun for a Farsa pick.
Exactly.
Parang ang ginawa lang nila dito, kunin natin yung Hylos. Na kapag may chance na kunin dito ng BRE yung Farsa, we have the BRE's pathway
Exactly.
to actually break through doon sa kanilang front line.
Yeah.
And at times, si Rafflesia dito yung yung gagamit niya Kukra. Yes, at times, maganda siyang pang-answer sa isang Ranger. But, kung may glorious pathway, hindi kailangan mag-rondo ng isang Ranger.
Selena,
Kailangan nilang
Farsa.
gawin, lumakad matatag,
Your team
papunta
is
doon sa may
picking.
kalaban niya mismo.
Now Farsa paired up with this Selena. Super
Esmeralda.
approach. Then there's
Your
the
team
Esmeralda for
is
PLDT
banning.
Smart Omega. And they are so confident about picking this Esmeralda kasi it is very unlikely for Brenny Bro to go for another back shot this time. And also, nasa kanila yung Hylos, which is the direct counter for Esmeralda. So, in all honesty, Brenny Pro are so
Your
happy
team
with this.
is banned.
PLDT Smart Omega are so happy with this Esmeralda pick. At hindi lang yan, nagawa na nila ito before. I think I saw this at least 3 times already. Esmeralda played with Granger sa kamay ng PLDT Smart Omega. Sobrang nakakatakot to. I'm not
Your
entirely
team
sure
is
if a
picking.
meta pick like Farsa can match this one out.
But at the same time, looking at their lineup with yung PSO dito, I just feel na ang gagawin nila dito parang football team. In
Jawhead.
American football kasi
Your
syempre
team
ang
is picking.
idea doon is to just break the front lines and get the score, di ba? Parang ang gagawin lang nila dito, taka, pili tayo ng mga sobrang brusco tapos kuha tayo ng isang mataas na damage output. Tapos ang gawin natin, basagin natin sila harapan.
And that also makes a lot of sense with
Break
John.
the line, break the line. Di ba?
Break the front lines. Yan ang gustong gawin dito ng PLDT Smart Omega, but for Brenny Pro, they will go back to the basics. Maybe
Chow.
considering the choke, and it will be the case.
Carry.
Dito sa carry.
Your team
Not entirely
is
sure about the carry.
picking.
Again,
Yeah.
there is a lot of potential for a dive para sa PLDT Smart Omega. Even sa early game, notoriously, Joehead is great versus Kimmy and Carry. Let's just see if kung paano lalaro ito ng Brenny Pro. Will they survive this Joehead?
I just feel that PRE dito, that marksman pick kay marksman pick to slot direction was a bit of a checkmate. Kasi parang at this point, you could have picked the 1-1 if you could. Pero with this type of mobility on the side of PSO, parang non-factor yung mga dodges, yung mga cups ni 1-1 eh.
You know what? All honesty, I think okay naman talaga yung carry. I mean, it's
Yeah.
decent versus all the tanks. It's great
Yeah.
versus Esmeralda and the Hylos. If it survives the early
Yes.
onslaught talaga
Yes.
dito ng PLDT Smart Omega, he will take off. Or she will take off.
Pero alam mo yun, yun yung tanong eh. Will he survive the first few minutes of the game before, alam mo yun, before mag-mid-game and you have enough items, let's say 2 core items on your side, and just carry your team from there? That is going to be the big question. But at the same time, seeing how PSO played their game earlier, parang hindi eh. Parang alam ng PSO kung paano counterin ang isang Farsa pick din.
Like I said, PLDT Smart Omega, they're like para silang yung mga Boy Scout na at the same time scholar din. Laging handa at you know, they're still masterful with other parts of of being an
5
academic
seconds
person.
till the enemy reaches the
Pagka
battlefield.
nag-homework
Smash
na,
them.
lagi pang handa.
Tatandaan mo
All
yung
troops
scout
deployed.
Ang Boy Scout ay... Hindi ko na alam yun. Madami
That was a long time ago.
Oh, matagal-tagal na yun. Tsaka madami-dami yun. Kaya right now, we are on the Land of Dawn. BRE versus PSO. Let us go for the team rundown dito. Raflesia onto the Kufra kill. BJ as a Farsa. We'll be playing with Nina, Renzo as the show, and JP as the carry.
PLDT Smart Omega, you will see Hip sa kanyang Hylas, Stoshi, back sa kanyang Granger, Haji Z on the Esmeralda this time. Ace onto this joint with the flicker. And there's Kenji sa kanyang Tams, Toshi in a very bad spot
First
this time.
blood.
And that is what you are looking for Brenny Pro. Sa game number 2, get the first blood, get the kills running. Ace trying to go on the flicker and will get on the kill. Ace gets it.
And Ace dito at a very bad spot. And right now, everything the Shunko is there. The only fast is there. Kill BJ dito lumilipad mga kaibigan. It's a big peacock na lumilipad.
Wow. Interesting na nakapag-survive pa rin. I mean, Heath in there with just revitalize really helps Ace a lot. And parang na-freshen up na nga din dito yung PLDT Smart Omega. Pwede na silang lumaban ulit even after that dive. So it's 1-1 for both teams. Tsaka malaki na pressure dito. But Kenji is very, very tanky.
Presence of mind to actually wait for the bounce before using his sexy skill to get away. Keith right now is in a bad spot. And the Farsa will do its job. That is the cleanup mga kaibigan. Haji, sinabang si Raflesia dito. But Raflesia probably at the wrong spot of the map. Sabi sila will be thrown out. Pero Reggio dito, napapalibutan siya ni Toshi. At ni Ace, pero Kenji dito napapalibutan din. And right now, KLBJ, they will get that kill. And they will get that turn.
top lane nakasurvive din dun si Rejo, which was the choke. That's very important. Bren Pro win to dive dun sa may other side ng mapa, which is bottom lane. At hindi sila nanakawan ng kahit anong objective dito sa may top lane. I think that's very important to take note na teams trying to go for trades always should be looking for a positive trade
Yes.
instead of a negative trade. Hindi siya pwedeng parehas lang kayo na nakukuha. You have to get something more. And sometimes ang difference na nun is huwag ka lang mamatay dun sa other side ng map, okay ka na.
Parang negosyo, hindi pwedeng negative, hindi pwedeng break even. Dapat may
Positive.
tinubo. Dapat may tinubo. Parang ganun lang tayo dito. Pero dilagay lang natin sa madaling madaling intindihin. Pero alam mo dito si Haji, he is having
Turtle
hard time
resurrecting soon.
getting his groove on. Kasi isa sa mga bagay dito for PSO. When Haji Z hits level 4, that's the time where they should fight. Na kasi talaga yun yung peak, yung peak time ng isang Esmeralda.
That's a power spike,
It's a
right?
power spike. But at the same time, they didn't really use it to their advantage. Pero right now, PRE is 100% punching them. There's pathway na gamit and they burn out one ultimate onto the side of PSO. But they still want to fight this. Kenji at the bad spot. Tingnan natin dito, Haji
Nice
throwing
dodge.
at the star moon. And that's a very nice dodge. Yung range ng Trader Air Spike dito won't really matter as they will get away. Ito yung strategy para sa team dito. They have a lot of objectives there. Enzo still trying to kind of beat steal. Circle, pero wala talaga siyang hit para.
Or what the vision, dalawa na huli dito with the Jeep though. But PLDT Smart Omega smartly backs off at Brenny Pro hindi na rin maglahabol dito. Now Hayes will spot this out. He's really safe here. Pero nga naman siya pabilis. But I think Brenny Pro are setting their eyes sa may top lane push.
Ito yung gusto nila gawin Abyss and Arrow to the Feather Air. Like, yun lang yung gusto nilang
Launch
paganahin.
attack!
Every single time. But right now, onto the backline, Toshi dito will be the target. And Renzo dito with a wave of the dragon. But right now, Roxy sa pinagbugan, mga kaibigan. He's dito. Does he have an answer? Pinakita niya yung sarili niya. Is this the right thing to do? And look at this. Yours pathway, mga kaibigan. It won't really matter kung nasaan pa siya as he still has enough time to get away. Pero sa may baba, JP dito being the marksman that he is. Haji Z might go down. Yes, he will. JP dito actually survives that. What a play coming out from JP.
The power of the red buff as well in action. Kahit wala na siya, kahit malayo na siya, I mean, si Esmeralda, the moment na tumama na rin yung kanya one normal attacks done with the ultimate, there was also a proc of the true damage. But really pierced through nga naman yung shields ng isang Esmeralda. Now they want to go for it this time. They committed. There's a feather there side. Pero the fight damage though, she wants to go for more. Gets the Sonata at nabuhay pa rin dito yung Tams. Ren E-Pro tried to go for the power play versus PLDT Smart Omega but it really backfired. Hindi nila kayang patayin yung may revitalize and glory and potentially glorious pathway na Hylos.
The thing about that certain setup na ginawa ni Rafflesia is, it was good, yes, but you have to take it
Turtle
into consideration
resurrecting
against
soon.
CJ. Nasa tamang posisyon ba ako? Halos katabi niya na lang yung mga tao doon. So, ibig sabihin, it takes a fight. And right now, that is going to be the retaliation, mga kaibigan. Dito, dito will actually go down. Zero Grease trying to shape them up. And look at this green eye, Renzo dito, and that is going to the kill. Renzo dito sumama pa, pero Renzo is at a very bad spot. He can actually go down from this. JP dito tumulong na. He actually put a bit of pressure para sa the PSO. They will back off and not go for the chase kay Renzo.
Yung mga gusto pick up this ng Brent E-Pro but PLDT Smart Omega are okay with sacrificing one member. Pero dalawa naman yung nakuha nilang objective, which is one, the turret. Number two, the blue
Oh,
boat.
look at that stun. That is, was well timed, pero dito will be a casualty.
That's amazing. That's a pretty throw.
And ang ganda ng timing ni dito.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just that meron talaga
Launch attack!
in the first place si Renzo. So that made the play possible. This. Look at this.
No hesitation whatsoever mula sa Brent E-Pro. Nakakuha sila ng isang kill doon. May top lane naman. This is an exchange for PLDT Smart Omega. They might have lost their Esmeralda. Pero yung tier 2 turret, yung kanilang kunin, the classic trade. Na sometimes mas masaya ka pa nga kasi, I mean, heroes respawn, but turrets do not.
Turrets do not. Tama ka doon. Gamers don't die. We just respawn.
We just respond. But turrets don't.
Turrets don't. Turrets don't. Pero Rafflesia dito and the other skill.
There you go.
reverse pathway, but Genji eating a lot of those air strikes.
You see the smart plays mula sa PLDT Smart Omega. Instead of going for heroes, they went for minions para hindi makapag-push. Now they want about Shady.
Spree.
There is the kill. Pero pa ba? Tetsu nata ginamit. But it will not matter. As they will take out Haze that time.
Ibon mang may layang lumipad at ibon mang may layang magpasabog. He's dito will be the next target. Falling Star Moon, LBJ doesn't get caught out. And Haji's at a very bad position, but Raflisha will just back down. He's dito is the next target. Makakasiran dahil sa airstrike. Pero look at the damage output. Medyo naniligit na nila.
Oh, of course, Heath with the high loss. Very, very tanky. Not easy target. Matala top lane. There's Renzo with the pickoff. It's a setup against Toshi. It should be shut down mula doon sa ating Joe against the Granger. 11th kill for the game para sa Brenny Pro. As they put themselves toe-to-toe in terms
Turtle
of economy.
resurrecting
Yun
soon.
naman talaga yung mas importante dito. PLDT Smart Omega might be losing in terms of kills, but in terms of economy, hindi sila nalalayo sa Brenny Pro.
And look at this. Actually, JP going for that solo turtle. Using it, pero Genji dito will be another casualty.
Launch
Haji
attack!
getting caught out, pero hindi na nila yung go. There wasn't really
Launch
enough
attack!
time to go for that kill on Haji and masyado din protektado yung area na yun.
It's really like itong tool na ginagamit ni Ace. Every time somebody gets stunned, para ma-cleanse niya, technically speaking, yung stun with a Abyssal Arrow, ini-eject na lang niya yung counter niya. So very smart na galawan ba sa PLDT Smart Omega.
Oh! And look at this! The counter initiation! Nandun mga kaibigan sa may gitna, pero Shin right now is first that way. Nandun sa may maling area, pero Renzo trying to help. Wala silang magagawa na sa push na to. And that is going to be 2 kills and a turret for the side of BRE.
That is so important for Brenny Pro. For the longest time, medyo tug of war tayo in terms of economy, but now they're pulling ahead. Those were turrets sa kanila kanawa. 6 in fact, now nahuli si Haji's dito. Very damage! Still surviving! Boy pa rin! And that is the help of PLDT Smart Omega. They take out, however, the Granger in terms of airstrike. Dams will be the one to fall. Ngayon, problema na ng PLDT Smart Omega. How can they defend this time? Can they actually defend this? It looks like hindi na nila kaya mag-defend sa yung top lane. And that's the inhibitor there going down. Brenny Pro, like you said, breaking the break-even. Winning the tug of war.
Mata sa mata.
PLDT Smart Omega.
Mata sa mata. Game sa game. Performance sa performance. PRA dito.
Request
Returning the
backup.
favor. Binabalik nila yung ginawa sa kanilang PSO nung game number 1.
It was so close for a moment. And then just one trigger, right? Isang magandang initiation na mula sa Brenny Pro and the pickups. PLDT Smart Omega are falling like dominoes this time. I mean, it's very hard to pull off itong kanilang composition if you look at the lineup of PLDT Smart Omega, but I guess Brenny Pro
Lord resurrecting
hindi
soon.
mo talaga pwedeng tanggalin sa kanila yung skill na meron din sila dito. And of course, Farsa still being a Farsa.
And it's the differences between sabihin natin Haji dito, he's really trying his best to get a good falling star load, pero he always falls short. And that is the thing. Should they stick with the control base for Haji or talagang anak lang nila ngayong game?
Well, it might be because of just Brenny Pro playing so good. Of course, Genji still surviving. May last streak bad, pero sa sila ng Farsa. Onto the backline says Haze to go with the rest of PLDT Smart Omega. Oh my goodness. The peel mechanic mula sa PLDT Smart Omega, courtesy of this ejector, was so good. Dapat sa Brenny Pro. And now you will
chance and up, Raflisha dito getting caught out, and this might be another kill for the side of PSO, but Clarence
Shut
is
down.
there, pero Raflisha will be the next casualty for the side of PRD. Right now, the Lord is available. Reed?
JP's here.
Reed, can you make something happen? That is the question, and look at this. Third division for the side of PSO. Genji, this is the pinakalikod. JP dito, take down everyone. Let's target, and right now, look at JP. One more hit. My God, yes.
Bottom lane, there's Renzo, there's JP. IGC trying to find this 2v1, pero hindi mo kaya. Yung carry ni JP, two boss, this day, and they will take down the base PLDT Smart Omega will win it already, or at least even up the game. Put it on a level playing field, pero hindi. Meron pala nag-split push dun sa baba, and there's JP with proper positioning. And nakita mo yung the fact na iniwan na niya dun si Jawhead because he knows that the far side is there and feathered airstrike and cannot run away from that even when you're a Jawhead. Then you can see the priority din sa may bottom lane. GC tried to fight pero dalawa yung may red buff nun. Kahit anong gawin mo, as Esmeralda, true damage will just pierce through you.
Yes.
Dalawang red buffs yun.
And you have to give a lot of props para kay Grid dito. Kasi sa totoo lang, yung silver na yan doesn't really equate to all the abyssal arrows na tinama niya sa side ng PSO.
Oh, ito na yung pwede natin sabihin, stats can lie.
Stats can lie.
At a certain
Stats
point.
can lie at a certain point. It doesn't really gauge kung ano man yung nagawa mo in the game. Kasi wala naman tayong counter dito kung gaano kadaming abyssal arrow yung ginawa niya. The assist could be a gauge, but at the same time, the amount of pressure na binigay niya, yun yung mga bagay na hindi mo mababasa.
I like how both teams have showed us how to play Farsa but in different types of compositions, I would say, or parang iba't ibang klase ng approach. For the side of Brenny Pro, they focused on like really straight up stunning, locking down one person, tapos gagamit ka ng feathered airstrike. But PLDT Smart Omega game number 1, they used the Guardian's Barrier and used the feathered airstrike as zoning tools para din para ma-elevate mo rin yung sarili mong marksman. And now we can see that both teams can play the Farsa so well. MVP of the game definitely is JP. Kahit pa sabihin natin maganda yung pinakita ng kanyang mga teammates, you have to give an exclamation point para sa performance dito ni JP. Because if not for that really good positioning, this victory will not be possible. If you remember, yung Lord fight na yun, it was 3 versus 5.
Yes.
It was 3 versus 5.
It was pure positioning genius for JP na mabaliktad niya yun.
Yeah. And we did say that he only needs to like survive the early game. And actually, ang hindi natin masyado na pag-usapan is actually untouched yung carry.
Yes.
Ganon ka-silent yung performance dito ni
Kaya-
JP. But in the late game, he said, this is the classic I carry you with the carry type of game.
Yun yung mga times na parang na sobrang daming nangyayari sa mapa at sa sobrang daming plays na ginagawa dito ng Bren E Pro. Kahit kaming mga casters, we left the carry untouched.
Yeah.
Ganon kabigat yung pressure na dinala nila kay LVJ. That was a dire situation for the side of Bren E Pro. Kasi nawala sa kanila si KLVJ, they lost the Lord, but still, they turned it around.
Yeah.
And they actually win the game. But we will be taking a very short break. After na mababalik kami for game number 3, kami pa rin yung magiging shoutcasters. Ako si Butters.
And I'm Wolf. We'll see you after this.
We are back right here at the Nationals. Kakatapos lang ng Game 2 between Bren E Pro and PLDT Smart Omega. Once again, it is the grand finals in the Season 1 finale of Mobile Legends Bang Bang right here at the Nationals. Kasama ko ngayon dito si Coach Arcadia, part of the coaching staff here for Bren E Pro. And he's taking care of this new lineup of the boys in black and yellow. And they just won Game 2. And finally, they made PSO bleed. Coach Arcadia, going into this matchup, ano yung pinaka-importante para sa Bren E Pro na trinain ninyo to face off against PSO?
Actually, nagpo-focus kami sa ano ngayon, sa communication skills nila. Kasi mechanically, kasi lahat naman sila good na. Kasi hindi naman sila maging pro players, they're not mechanically good. So, ini-improve namin, like, minamaster namin yung comm skills nila. Kasi like, kailangan yun, sobrang important yun sa mga clash nila and rotation sila. Yun.
Okay, so communications. And the way I worded it, it sounded like ready tayo. It sounded like you were going to expect to get into the grand finals. And was that the way it was? Were you afraid against HFE earlier today?
Oh, not really. Kasi we came prepared naman. Pinag-aralan namin yung HFE, pinag-aralan natin yung Smart. Hindi naman never naman kami nag-underestimate ng mga opponents. So pinag-ahandaan talaga namin kung ano yung plano namin draft and plano namin rotations.
Last, before we move on to the matchup once more, again, Game 3, papasok tayo sa Grand Finals. What is the strength of PSO that you're looking forward to, that you're trying to answer right here, right now?
I think yung tank duo nila sobrang solid. So yun yung ano namin, try to punish yung tank duo nila kasi feel namin sila yung nag-enable ng team to perform better.
Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Arcadia from Bren E Pro. Babata natin sa ating mga shoutcasters. Once more, it's Leo from courtside. Take it over. It's Butters and Wolf.
Maraming salamat, Leo. And of course, Coach Arcadia, maybe this is something new. Siguro marami kayong bagong faces na nakita sa Bren E Pro, particularly sa kanilang coaching staff. Now, nakatayo dun sa parang drafting nila was Coach Leathergoods. And then, there's Coach Arcadia na nakausap natin. And one of the coaching, kumbaga nag-o-oppress ng coaching staff ng Bren E Pro. If you don't know, and you probably don't, these players, they actually came from another game, another mobile MOBA, which is important. I think that maganda yung idea dito ng Bren E Pro. It's more like a different approach on how you kind of control a Mobile Legends team. Mas maganda na meron ka ring ideas from other types of MOBAs. Which is important kasi parang this is your trump card against your opponents. If you have a different understanding na applicable naman sa game, and if it works, it really is really scary to think about. Kasi what are you gonna do against a strategy na technically hindi mo alam?
Magkakaibang MOBA. They're sabihin natin, ang tamang idea lang naman dyan is, magkaiba man silang MOBA, pero it's still a MOBA. It's still a MOBA.
Yeah, there are many different ways or million of ways on how to play Mobile Legends. Maybe this approach mula sa Bren E Pro, we are gonna see in a different light. And in a way, pwede rin siya magandang panglaban sa PLDT Smart Omega. Kasi if you look at the history on how this season developed, we will have to think about ano na nga ba talaga pwede mo pang gawin sa PLDT Smart Omega. Traditional won't work. Novelty can't work against PLDT Smart Omega. They're always one step ahead. And maybe that approach pala na pwedeng mag-work laban sa PLDT Smart Omega is take them to a different type of gameplay.
Yes.
Well, sabi na, we can still see naman talaga na sobrang Mobile Legends pa rin naman. But I think yung movements kasi dito ng Bren E Pro, maybe it's harder to predict than most. Maybe it will take a longer time for PLDT Smart Omega to understand how Bren E Pro operates. But until then, we will see. Maybe ito na nga yung time na baka kaya ng matalo ang PLDT Smart Omega. It's interesting for me to think about others.
Ang ganda ng ginawa nila dito kasi Leathergoods giving a bit of spotlight para sa coaches nila dito. Leathergoods actually came from Mobile Legends then before moving on to another game. Then he goes back to his first love, yung Mobile Legends Bang Bang nga. And he took everything ng pagkakaalam niya and he mixed it together.
Yeah.
So there are variations. There is a purist na sabihin natin ng MMDB lang. And there
Your team is back.
varieties for coaches din na mag-iba't ibang understanding.
And I like the term that you put up, purist. You can attribute that to Coach Dale.
Yes.
Because you can see na iba talaga yung mastery, yung pagkaka-understand ni Coach Dale with the game Mobile Legends. And you can see that even in bigger tournaments, in international tournaments, on how Coach Dale coaches a team and drafts for the team, talagang kahit mo sa pagbalik-balik na rin mo ang Mobile Legends, kabisado yan ni Coach Dale. There's
Your
also part
team
of the
is
coaching staff of
picking.
PLDT Sport. I think that even, sa lahat naman siguro ng teams sa
Highlights.
nationals, since meron tayong
Your
iba pang
team
MOBA which
is
is Dota,
picking.
maybe ma-apply pa rin natin yan. So,
Yeah.
really, this is a battle of coaches pa rin talaga.
Rock.
More so than it is a mechanical skill battle between
Go.
both teams or
Your
franchises.
team
Yes,
is
but right
picking.
now, let us focus on the draft. Kuya Wolf, BRE dito, going for the bans, Valir and Xborg, while PSO naman dito, Kufra and the Kimi, they still stick with this Croc. And I like the Croc pick right now just because it's very strong, it gives out a lot of utility, and at the same time, it's all about the jungle and
Bruno.
Because there is a lot of emphasis din para sa
Your
jungle.
team is picking.
Now, there's a different kind of shift dito ba sa Bernie Pro. Nakita na natin
Farsa.
from Bruno. This
Your
time,
team
Farsa
is
is
banning.
now part of the Smart Omega. Kind of makes me think, ano kaya ang inisip dito ng Bernie Pro? Why they went for the Bruno instead of the Farsa? Interesting to see. I think we're gonna see the answer naman come the second phase of picks para sa Bernie Pro. Is this Bruno the answer already? Hindi pa natin
Your
masasabi.
team is banning.
I think that both teams will now shy away from the Esmeralda knowing kung ano yung main flaw again ng Esmeralda ngayon. Because I always think that heroes that rely heavily on reduction of damage reduction, medyo hindi na sila yung talagang magandang heroes na piliin yan. Because again, of the red buff, through damage.
Your team is picking.
The higher the damage that the earlier the power spike is, most of the time ganun din sila kabilis mawala sa
Exactly.
circulation. And para sa akin yung PSO ngayon, they don't really have a chance to go for the Esmeralda just because the Bruno is there. But for BRE, there is a slight chance. However, kasi usually yun na yung mga makikita mo against sa Farsa. Whoever can actually close the gap
Diggy.
with the Farsa easily
Your
at
team
mabilis.
is picking.
At times, yun na yung nagiging tama eh.
Yeah. Wow, digging. For PLDT Smart Omega, we always think about this hero as like a counter to all of the crowd control. But actually, I always think Diggy as a late stabilizer. Niisip ko ngayon siguro, ano yung prepare up nila with this Diggy in the laning stage? Who do they want to protect this time?
I really want BRE to
Esmeralda.
audition right now, but they will just go for an Esmeralda. It just feels that the
Kaja.
is right
Your
since you
team
have the
is
access to
picking.
a Kaja, but they will go for the safe route.
Yeah, it's Esmeralda this time. Well, napakaganda nga na maisipin na meron ka pang feel sa backgrounds and also you have
Yeah.
this sort
Ranger.
of way to kind of tank or parang nasa kanya yung weight ng early game control. And you put it in your Esmeralda, but PLDT Smart Omega going back to their roots. Actually, carry is such a good, sabihin na natin pick up sana for PLDT Smart Omega. Lalong-lalo na dahil meron silang Diggy. And also, it's Toshi's favorite. But of course, you can never go wrong with the Granger this time. Ngayon, palupito na lang mag-marks mo to. It's the Bruno versus the Granger. Who's gonna win Game 3 and put the team into match point dito sa ating Grand Finals? That's gonna be very exciting.
Para sa akin kasi dito, Kuya Wolf, going back to yung tanong mo kanina, the moment you pick a Diggy against a Hylos, sometimes it's enough to take people out of the glorious pathway and to negate the glorious pathway. Because if the fight is going 50-50, sa totoo lang, parang mas maganda na lang na kapag ka 50-50 yung laban at pareho kayong may chance manalo, just go back. Masyadong risky pumasok sa isang time's journey kung ikaw yung Hylos.
It's also true.
Smash them.
We'll see kung paano i-apply nga naman yung Diggy
All troops
composition dito.
deployed.
As well as the Hylos. Also have to take note, there's still a Farsa, but I guess Bren E Pro are confident facing up against a Farsa, seeing as they do have the Kaja this time. Bren E Pro versus PLDT Smart Omega 1-1 ang ating score sa ating Grand Finals. And it seems like Bren E Pro will try to go for their Game 1 strategy laban sa ating Emperors, the 5-man invade. Well, this time, 4-man invade. into the blue buff of their opponent. Is PLDT Smart Omega prepared for this? We're about to see. Oh!
Keys and the objects actually forced
GC.
to use that flicker. And eto na nga yung sinasabi natin, the potential of adding to the early game. Pero ang mga kaibigan,
Melting! GC melting them down. Fourth kill in the bank for PLDT Smart Omega, only losing Heat. And they're so happy with this. Renzo, the only one to survive. And now, Pretty Pro, disastrous ang kanila nangyari.
Noting one of the best Dota shoutcasters ever. It's a disaster!
Grit! Oh!
Kailangan pagka medyo kasi nag-feathering airstrike na, medyo kailangan mo na medyo marunong ka mag-crit walk.
Yeah.
Yung mga marunong mo isahay po yung mga feathering airstrike.
1 minute 20 seconds. You have level 4 Farsa, level 3 Kenji, offlane show, 3 buffs to your name, at isa lang yung nakuha ng Bren Pro. That's the blue buff para kay Kel VJ. And most of their cores are level 1. Ano ka naipit na dito sa JP? Strikes mo. It worked in game 1. It will work again for sure now. Green in trouble. Fortunately, White Tack here, pero pwede sa diamond like we said, mega kill agad for this Farsa. And my goodness, PLDT Smart Omega, they aren't really capitalizing on this.
This is the first time na nakakita ako ng isang zero sa game na 2 minutes in, level 1 pa rin.
This is a problem though. Toshi with the red buff. You can see Renzo being forced out here. Kenji, makasa dito ng stun. Where's on cheat code though, but will not hit. Now he might be in trouble, but it's way of the dragon para makatakas dito mula sa mga members ng Bren Pro.
Things are not looking great for the side of PRE. There are 2 things to keep in mind. Number 1, they don't have the levels. Number 2, a lot of their all of their supports and tanks actually rely heavily onto their ultimates. So right now, they're still at level 2, 2 minutes into the game. A lot of objectives are gonna come out in just a bit. They still don't have their
What a
ultimates.
wild charge. Connecting onto 2. They want to go for this one, but revitalize. Upfield.
Oh my God!
GC! Unstoppable na ngayon. Wings by wings. Palayo. And ngayon, ipit na ba? Members ng Bren Pro. PLDT Smart Omega just literally won that fight because of the fact that they have so much gold. Pwede nilang ipato sa mukha ng Bren Pro ngayon. 9.4k at 3 minutes, brothers.
Kumbaga, ito yung sinatawag critical na pinipili mo yung panalo. Pinipili
Pay to
mo
win.
Pay to win. Pero hindi
Real money.
real money. In-game gold ang ginagawa
Wow.
mo dito.
GC's level 7 at this point.
And they cannot contest this 4K gold lead as early as 3 minutes in.
It kind of makes me think, brothers, ang ganda ng red buff sa Farsa because you literally can put damage from so long distance.
I just feel that it's one of those mistakes na PRE didn't really think about.
It's a disaster.
Nagigit sila dun ng early game. And it's just that
Look at Heath. Tapos nagkama niya. Well, sabay yung falling star.
even using the Falling Star Moon to get the Repolyo. Pero kahit na nakikita mo kung gano'n ka-desperado yung PRE dito just to get the scraps of
Yeah.
war. Ito yung mga bagay na hindi na kinukuha ng PSO kasi masyado na silang mayaman.
Oh my goodness. Wings by wings, there's the Venom airstrike. And like we said, through damage, really connects through that. They have to back down right now. Had you seen so much of a threat. At hindi pa nga natin napapag-usapan dito yung ating Granger na nasa top lane now.
And
What are you
yung
at the
mahabol
bottom?
sa kanila dito. Okay, si mga kaibigan and running on the outside. Kasawali ang pa-JP dito. One more! JP getting shut down kung gano'n ka-brilliant yung game number 1. Ganon ka...
Launch attack!
Yung game number 2.
Game number 3 is just such a beatdown of actually the thing can't even pierce through the backlines. Dalawa na yung napatay Reflection trying to run away, but of course you can against Toshi with the red buff as well. PLDT Smart Omega, this is a stop. 11 to 1, 16k gold in 5 minutes. Look at 1.4k lang yung pera dito ng Bruno. That's literally nothing.
Ewan ko pero para sa akin, ang nangyari dun sa PSO nung early game, yung bato si Haji isang spell that actually is. And ang kailangan na dito ng BRE is yung mga tao na nagbubukas ng pilata gamit event Kasi medyo mahirap na talaga to. Kailangan pure grit na to eh. Kailangan piliin yung mga tamang desisyon at maging patient ka. Even though namamatay ka ngayon, yes, it's quite costly.
Turtle
Right
resurrecting
now,
soon.
But still, you just have to hold the line. And this is the line. Sinisira lang this nila Kenji.
Najansi wants to go for more. Ang kaliwa, patay-patay lang si Kel VJ. At this point, Brent E-Pro doesn't have the license to even get out of their base. This PLDT Smart Omega, parang binili na nila yung mapa this time. Bawal na kayo lumabas, Brent E-Pro. And it will take a lot of, I would say, mishaps before they can even go for a victory this time. Brenzio, this might be the first one. Hayes being forced out, but they had to commit everything just to kill off the Tiki. Samantala, habang nangyari yun, Kenji gets the tier 2 turret down the bottom lane.
Nahuli nila ng isang malaking bird, yung maliit na bird. Yun lang yung istorya dito ng BRE. Nothing is going to their side. The only thing na pwede lang nila kunin is Hayes with that kill. Therefore, those two kills doesn't even matter right now because Haji Z, he has 8 kills on his belt, 5 assists, no deaths.
Wow.
How do you contest a Barca na sinasabi nga natin na sobrang okay na ngayon, binigyan mo pa ng gamit?
You know what? We weren't talking about the Tiki as sort of the lane stabilizer para sa PLDT Smart Omega. Pero hindi na nga nila kinailangan yun. Yung 4 kills nila at the start of the game. And you have to take note na retribution pa yung buff na yun kaya napunta yun kay Barca. That really was disastrous for Brent E-Pro. And it won't matter kung ano pa yung draft. It's just a matter of, look at that, just literally one strike of feathered airstrike. Tsaka nakakita agad ng bawas
I
sa
don't know.
Kaja.
Right now, the pacing of this
River
game
Garden.
maging makatotohanan na, maging totoo na sila sa sarili nila. Do not give out the Barca. You do not have the liberty of giving out the Barca dito. Pero right now, mga kaibigan, I tap this out. Pero Creed, he isn't angry in any way against Haji and the others.
That Sonata gonna be used, but no kills for PLDT Smart Omega. Won't matter though. Kasi gusto na naman ng PLDT Smart Omega dito is to secure all of the farm. 29,000 gold in 8 minutes. This is ridiculous.
Kasi tinatawag na rank game.
My goodness.
Na rank game dito yung BRE. And just because
Turtle
of what was
resurrecting soon.
ito nga sinasabi natin. The thing about MLBB, yes, it's a fast game. But at the same time, insurmountable leads can actually come out from the most disastrous of moments lang talaga. And BRE,
One bad decision.
one bad decision, they got punished so bad na si Haji dito even has a divide play as early as 8 minutes.
Now, I think Butters, what we need to talk about is how, if you ever, meron pa bang chance ang Brent E-Pro na makabawi dito? I guess the straight up answer is yes, but that will take like Brent E-Pro's perfect
Launch
few
attack!
minutes and then PLDT Smart Omega messing up. Ganon kalala yung discrepancy deficit natin dito. And PLDT Smart Omega even might be able to get grip. What a nice wall charge in there. KelVJ jumping in, short range. Buti na lang wala dito yung mga core sa Pittsburgh. But of course, it's the reverse time. Feathered airstrike used. Kenji hopes. Look at Kel. Don't let Toshi!
Oh!
So close.
That could have been a Kobe moment doon, Kuya Bol, pero wala eh.
It's okay.
Kumobi na yung dalawa eh. Panghuling Kobe na lang na kailangan. Yung PSO dito, they are still pressuring the map. Ito na po yung pinakamahirap na parte ng pagsisiege ng isang team na sobrang lamang. There are times na pwede ka pa mag-farm kahit pa paano eh. Pero kasi sa MLBB, sobrang laki ng access ng jungle. If you couldn't really get out of the jungle na hindi ka namamatay, that is going to be the time na talagang magugutom yung team mo sa farm.
You have to take note, magkewalay na yung buffs ngayon. So that means that before, pwede pa yung mage no makakuha na at least one blue. But this time, sobrang importante ng red and blue. The stealing buff from opponents is just way too good. Look at that. One combo, one Rhapsody enough to take down Renzio's Dams. That's already a problem for PLDT Smart Omega.
He is
For Brent Pro.
Alam mo, that DC is just way too strong for control pages. It just seems that
Lord resurrecting soon.
kapag ang mga ganito, yes, the Esmeralda play was very shaky. Pero Pero alam mo yun, pagka nakuha yung Farsa na to, parang ang hirap nila talunin talaga eh.
Kaya namin think, ano pa ba talaga ang sagot sa Farsa aside from banning, straight out banning the heroes and denying it.
He who has the Farsa controls the game.
Farsa wins games.
Farsa wins game. Dati crap eh. Ngayon, Farsa na lang talaga. Pero alam mo, itong hero na to, I just think na yung Frederick Strike, ang bilis masyado. Sobrang bilis masyado yung paglapag ng Frederick Strike. Na at some point, kapag ka nabatawan ka ng reverse time, sometimes it only, sabihin natin, it really just takes 2 or 3 fast drops to the Frederick Strike to, just take you down.
And we can see that happening. Divine Glaive in there as well. Available para kay Hadjis. At this point, kasi I mean, Winter Truncheon even. Good luck trying to kill this Farsa. It seems so impossible. Even just throwing it out there. Kita mo yun? That's a tank, by the way. Chip, like Emerson, and even then, si Toshi mas makati pa. Glorious Pathway and Revitalize used. Now, Brenny Pro, how can you defend against this Lord at this point?
Sa perfectong mundo, Kuya Wolf, kahit nangyari yung 3 kills, 4 kills ng Haji, oh my goodness.
Two Predators strike into one side. One time off now. Should be it. Field Instrument even gets Esmeralda sa may bottom lane naman. Here's the Farsa once again. Double kill para kay Toshi. And then triple kill to end it up. Field into Smart Omega. It's game 3. 2-1. Such a stomp. Just a dominant fashion para sa PLDT Smart Omega.
Sa isang perfectong mundo, kahit man nangyari yung 4 kills na yun ni Haji into the early game, they could have come back kung hindi na-take down si JP ng 2 to 3 more times.
Yeah.
Na parang, yun lang talaga yung naging deciding factor in this game.
I think that it's also good. Tama ka, Butters. Parang maganda naman talaga na makontrol, makakuha ka ng bonus skills sa start, di ba? But sometimes, normally teams will not take it to an even bigger advantage. Parang minsan hayaan nila makarecover yung kalaban nila. But what PLDT Smart Omega did was focus on the bottom side of the map where the Bruno is playing. Kasi you already shut down itong Esmeralda sa gitna. What you all need to do as a follow-up dun sa 4 kills na nakuha mo, huwag mong hayaan makapag-farm yung ating Bruno. And there was one time na parang 2 minutes, level 1 yung Bruno. Something like that. And that's a problem.
Kasi yun yung mga nasa idea eh. Kasi itong mga course na to, itong mga marksmen na to, there is no way for you to actually tell na buong game kaya kita i-shutdown. You can just only delay. You can just only delay their power spikes. So, right now, what happened was, 4 minutes or 3 minutes ng buhay ni JP doon nasayang kasi pabalik-balik siya. Pabalik-balik lang siya. That could have been the turning point yung 11-minute mark, pero 3 minutes delayed nga yung farm ni JP. So, sabihin, they needed like 14 minutes for him to actually get his power spike, pero hindi na talaga tayo abot.
And like we said, Bren E Pro did this invade in their game 1 against Happy Feet Emperors. And habang kinakas natin yung game ng Web Butters, we kind of asked, prepared ba ang PLDT Smart Omega dun sa invade na yun? And it seems like the answer is definitely a big yes. We saw how prepared PLDT Smart Omega was with that. And you kind of makes you wonder, bakit nga naman talaga i-attempt mo na mag-steal ng buff when a Retribution holder is available for your opponents and you don't have it, di ba? There's a lot of question marks in there, and it seems like PLDT Smart Omega snagged that buff away from Brenny Pro, and then afterwards, pinunish nila si JP. Such a clinical display. And PLDT Smart Omega, once again, just one game away from earning another championship and a Grand Slam. Will Brenny Pro let that happen? We will find out come Game 4. Pero ngayon, we're gonna hop into a very quick break. Huwag kayong alis. Magbabalik ang The Nationals.
Welcome back to the Nationals, live from courtside, reporting to you. Ako nga pala si Leo at kakatapos lang ng Game 3 between Brenny Pro and PLDT Smart Omega. After that 1-1 series in Game 2, it seems like PSO wants to put Bren back in their place and show us exactly why they're in the running for a Grand Slam Championships right here at the MLBB Season 1 finale at the Nationals. Natapos ang larong yon after such a dominant run by Omega, having themselves about 8,000 gold lead at about 5 minutes. This is an Omega we haven't seen before, and it seems like they took advantage of Bren E Pro's reliance on battle spells such as Flicker and letting go of Retribution. They put Retribution on two of their heroes, that is their Farsa and their Granger, and they seem to have found that invading Bren, starving them very early on, was the key. Let's see, match point na mga kaibigan. PSO is one game away from winning themselves a Grand Slam Championships right here at the Nationals. Only the second in the league's story. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you to catch the broadcast of the Nationals on pay TV at One Sports and EGG Network, via Signal TV and Free TV at 5 Plus via ESPN 5. As well, the Nationals would like to thank PayMaya, our official digital payments partner, and of course, make sure to follow the Nationals on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at PH Nationals. Balik natin sa ating mga casters. It's going to be Wolf and Butters running you through the action. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Leo. And, ito na talaga, match point. But I kind of feel that Brenny Pro might be up to something. Maybe they have woken up. Di natin alam. But my guts tell me na mukhang magkakaroon yata tayo dito ng game number 5. And I think it's really what the fans deserve at this point. PLDT Smart Omega, masaya talagang panoorin yung kanilang dominance dito. But we want to see Brenny Pro really showing up and forcing game number 5, not end the grand finals with that really sore performance in game number 3.
Put a chip in their shoulder. Kumbaga, pakabahin nyo man sila ng onte. Pero, ito kasi yun eh. Para sa akin, those kinds of losses really takes its toll. Hindi man sa physical capability ng player, it's more on the mental capability of the player. Na parang, pareho naman tayong pro team dito, pero ang ginawa nila sa atin, parang binataan nila tayo.
Actually, merong counter-argument naman dyan kay Butters
Okay.
that some teams actually prefer to lose ng stump kesa tanggapin yung loss ng close game. There were players that admitted na kapag sobrang close ng laban at alam mo may papanalo mo, mas masakit tanggapin yun kesa sa isang durog na game. Because losing game like that, for example, they will think about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, sure. Maling decision, talo na tayo, let's move on. No matter what happens, wala na eh. But when you lose a very close game, doon talaga mas nagkakainitan.
Yeah, but at the same time, kahit anong mangyari, for teams who lose, in whatever fashion that is, recomposure. Getting your composure back and reset. That is the most important thing ever para sa isang pro player.
Surely.
Especially when you're losing. Kasi sa mga ganitong high stakes na game, there are times na kapag bigla kang na-tilt, it doesn't really, parang alam mo yun, kumbaga wala kang recovery.
Yeah. And tilt is, sabihin natin yung pagka-tilt kasi, it kind of carries over from a certain point in time until the end, right? Pwede siyang mag-drag all
Pwede
throughout the
mag-drag,
series.
pwede siyang
I mean, like, if you tilt, if you had a good performance game 1, game 2, the tilt on game 3, it could carry on until game 5.
Yeah.
That could happen. I think that, yeah, I agree with you. Reset is one thing that they have to take note. I think that nagkaroon din ng time nung, I think a big international event. It was the Southeast Asian Games, and the idea for our team there was reset every time. Think about it as a best of 1 series all the time.
Because the best of 1 mentality, mga kaibigan, kasi usually ang best of 5 pag nakikita mo siya, parang ang sarap isipin na best of 5 siya. Now, we have our chances. We have our chances na matalo. Pero when you take it to a best of 1, that only means na yung mindset mo, kailangan ko manalo every single game. So that's the time when you can actually see na parang you're taking it 1 game at a time. Kasi sometimes, having that window of para matalo ka, it really gives you this, sabihin natin, safe haven. Na parang, okay lang matalo, experiment muna tayo ng konti. Pero when you have that BO1 mentality, at times parang dire-diretso na lang, panalo na eh.
And you kind of not think about, parang in a way, mas lighter yung
Mas lighter,
cargo
yes.
mo.
Yes,
Which
that
I
is
think
true.
is very important in a long run series. I mean, this is a best of 5. For sure, nagmamatter yung games before in terms of the draft, in terms of like how you react. But at a certain point, kailangan mo siyang kalimutan and just play the game as it is. But I guess for now, Bren E Pro, hindi naman ito yung basta-basta lang na team na magka-crumble against PLDT Smart Omega. I think that they should have something in the bag. But now the question is, lagi natin kasi tinatanong pag down ka, how do you win the next game if you just recently just lost the game? How about when we take it to the winner's perspective? If you are Coach Dale, Kuya Butters, what will you tell your teammates? Kasi I mean, yeah, sure, one game away ka. Yeah, sure, you're winning. But it can also be, baka maging complacent ka sa team. What will you tell your teammates on how to approach game number 4?
Usually naman kasi pagka mga ganito na ano lang eh, kumbaga you just have to wake up your team again. Kasi minsan may mga nananalong natutulog bigla. Na parang, kaya natin to, panalo na tayo ng 2 beses eh. Kailangan lang, ilagay mo lang yung sa kanila na level lang sila na kahit na panalo nyo yung 2 game, hindi pa kayo champion. So, ibig sabihin, tsaka tayo mag-enjoy kapag champion na. Pero sa ngayon, maglaro muna kayo ng tama. Laruin nyo muna yung game na yan at a level head na hindi nyo i-underestimate yung kalaban nyo.
And it kind of makes me think that, yeah, surely, this is a mental battle pa rin.
And at the same time, kapag nakikita mo yung mga players, mga kaibigan, kapag nakita niyo yung mga players, try to look at their body language a bit more. Kasi it really shows off kung ano man yung ginagawa nila, kung pressured ba sila, kung masaya ba sila. Because there are times na players are actually laughing.
Yeah.
There are times na yung mga players hindi nagpapansinan. There are times din na parang sobrang seryoso nila to the point na kapag ka meron nagbago sa kanila from their known attitudes towards the camera or kung ano man nakikita sa player cams, it actually has a basis kung ano nga ba yung changes na nakikita sa na. It's a mental battle.
Yeah.
Always, best of 5s. It's a mental battle and it's actually a battle of mechanics and at the same time, it's a battle of resets kasi mas madami kang beses na pwede matalo dito. So, ibig sabihin, losing 1 game isn't really that big but at the same time, losing 2 ng diretso, that could actually break you guys kapag ka hindi kayo marunong mag-reset.
And speaking of break, I think to quote one two-time champion of a big
Sino?
tournament, sabi niya, kailangan mo lang i-break yung kalaban mo. Whoever breaks first, siya yung unang talo. And whoever is able to win the mind battle wins the championship. And I think that is what we are about to see here.
Sino-
That was No Tail. If I'm
Okay.
mistaken. From
Okay.
Dota, which also is a part of the nationals. Now, I think that we've talked about the outside of the game mechanics.
Let's talk about the
Let's
inside.
get into the game itself. Butters, is this as simple as Farsa wins games?
I think that mas madami pang aspects but
Ano?
right now kung titake mo siya face value, I think it is. I think it is kasi ang daming pwedeng tignan dito in terms of just getting yung mga heroes kung sino yung mga sinasama nila. Kasi kung papansin mo yung Farsa, hindi naman siya standalone hero eh. Meron siya kasama. Selena, Brock, yun yung mga ganong heroes yung mga gusto niyang kasama. But right now, let's
Wow.
look at the kill average leaders for Conference 1 and Conference 2. Laging madaming PSO.
So Toshi is the one that's consistent all throughout the conference. 4.75, Conference 1, 5.06, Conference number 2. In Haji Z, you know what? If you look at it, this is scary kasi palitan pa nga si RTC at Haji Z, di ba? There's PLDT Smart Omega but they still got the top kills. It's easy to say na mahilig sa macro objectives ang PLDT Smart Omega sa team. But actually, if you think about it, they are also a very offensive team in terms of getting hero kills. And ma-attribute natin yun sa mga nagagawa din ng PLDT Smart Omega. Kasi naman, hindi naman enough na mag-focus ka sa pag-take ng Turtles or ng Lords. But if you don't get the kills, you won't activate your objective-taking potential pa rin.
Pero alam mo, nakikita ko yung kill average leaders. There's one thing that I really want to point out. the lack of Carl Tizzy in PSO right now for the season finale, I don't really think that it hurt them that much. Pero kasi, if ever man lang na Bren E Pro figures out how to shut down Haji, alam mo si Haji dito pumasok siya dito sa may PSO, na parang nung umalis si Carl Tizzy, ang laki nung shoes na dapat niya i-fill in. At the same time, I don't really think that the pressure is getting to him. Kasi magaling si Carl Tizzy, magaling din si Haji.
Yeah.
But they're strong in their own right.
Yeah. You know what? I have a little bit of confession to make to you, Butters.
Okay.
So there was someone, I forgot who, but somebody asked me, kailangan ba talagang, is it like really the pressure that can build up to Haji Z? But my answer is no. I think that PLDT Smart Omega losing their star player Carl TZ is, if you think about it, mas napaganda pa ang kanilang chances sa season finale. Now you have to look at this as,
Okay. Objective.
Carl TZ,
Okay.
parang nung the only time na natalo sa Conference 2 playoffs ang PLDT Smart Omega was when Haji Z was playing. And medyo nagkaroon ng mga comments outside na siguro it's not Carl TZ wins games. Pag hindi naglaro si Carl TZ, talo ang PLDT Smart Omega. And I think that those kinds of comments kind of put something in the heads of the players din. And I think that now, with Carl TZ gone sa PLDT Smart Omega, it kind of made Haji Z sort of gigil, I would say, na parang gusto improve yung sarili niya. And it really showed up in the past games.
Itong batang to, he is a monster in his own right. Yes, Carl TZ is another monster, but at the same time, you just have to wait for Haji Z to actually adapt dun sa pinagagawa nila. Listen, si Haji dito mga kaibigan, hindi siya naglalaro dun sa may buong nationals. So kumbaga, yung adjustment phase niya was a bit hard.
Yeah.
It was a bit harder for compared to Carl TZ na nandun na talaga. And right now, this is how you cement yourself as one of the best mid laners para dito sa ating liga. And if Haji wins this, 100% magaling din ka.
And like you said, bago umahon ang dragon, you have to wait.
Your
it up.
team
I
is
think
banning.
that the dragon inside Haji Z
At saka
was
may
woken up.
kasabihan din tayo eh. Para maging magaling ka, dapat minsan galing ka din sa baba. You have to experience yung baba bago mo maintindihan kung paano mapunta sa taas.
One thing's that constant, however, for PLDT Smart Omega. That's why, napo-pull off nila yung mga ganitong klaseng mga lineup. I think that you have to attribute it to Ace, who is a very interesting support / tank player kasi sobrang taas ng mechanical skill niya. And from what I heard, he plays core pag pubs so that he can learn what should be the problems for the cores para maintindihan niya kung paano niya guguluhin at iinisin yung mga cores, nilalaro niya yung B-core, tapos i-apply niya yung nakakainis bilang isang support.
Sobrang galing mo na mag-tank na hindi ka na mag-practice mag-tank.
Ganon kaalapin.
Practice ka na ng core para inisin sila.
Oo.
Pero Farsa, oh my goodness,
Your team is
kinuha
picking.
na naman nila yung Farsa and this might be the game changer for the side of PSO. If BRE can actually break this, that is a chip on the shoulder here for the side of PSO. But remember, whatever happens, kahit ma-break man nila yung Farsang to,
It's one of the very interesting game
Your
5
team
if ever
is
they
picking.
do
Yes.
break apart this first picked Farsa. Interestingly, Brenny Pro will go back to their roots. Hylos in combination with this export. Napaka-interesting nga naman dito mula sa Brenny Pro. It proved to be successful in the previous series. Let's see if it will be successful laban sa PLDT Smart Omega. Now, Cho is considered here heavily by PLDT Smart Omega. One thing that's also constant, by the way, is yung Kimi ban dito ng PLDT Smart Omega, which is, big respect laban.
Bruno.
I just
Cho.
Bruno and the Farsa
Your
is the one
team
two
is
punch
picking.
na kinakailangan ng mga teams dito just to win these kinds of high stakes na game. Kasi look at the protection na ginagawa nila dito. Bruno can be on the front line when the feathered airstrike is there. You would choose, do I go for the Bruno or do I just go back? Tatandaan natin dito, Bruno can actually chase you down. If you cannot take him out of the feathered airstrike, parang ang hirap na ata. That is a big task in front of DRE kapag nangyari yung mga sitwasyon na gano'n.
Specifically in terms of like the long run game, you have to take
Your
note.
team
Bruno
is banning.
complements the power spikes of Farsa in a way na Farsa in the early game, mid game Bruno comes in, and late game silang dalawa hand in hand together. So that's very scary to think about. And Brenny Pro will settle for a Thamps as the pick. It's decent versus the laning capabilities of the Bruno, I would say.
I like the idea na kinuha na agad dito ng BRE.
Your team is
I just feel
banning.
that Export is, they're in their element. Kumbaga, parang komportable sila maglaro kapag meron silang hawak-hawak na Export.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of their characteristics talaga na gusto talaga kasi nila lumaban na maaga. They did not get the Kimi once this series. Pero ang sabi naman dito ng PSG, yun lang naman yung hero na nakakatakot.
Your team is
More or less,
picking.
sila talaga nirespeto nila, aside from the Kufra as well. But right now, the thing about BRE is they have the space to
Range.
kasi
Your
tatlong
team is
tanky
picking.
heroes yung kinuha nila dito. They have the Expert, they have the Tabs, they have the Hylos. So right now, in terms of the mage and the marksman, they can be flexible about it.
And it's all, sabihin natin, textbook for Brenny Pro to go for the Granger at this point. Since,
Diggy.
syempre, Bruno yung nasa kabila. And there's the Diggy pick here by PLDT Smart Omega. To be going for the Akai, I like this a lot kasi this is your way to kind of make more space for the Farsa. It's one thing to use yung Hurricane Dance into the Feathered Airstrike na sobrang kate, by the way. It's also one thing if ever somebody jumps into
Your
the Farsa,
team is
you have
picking.
either Time's Journey or the Hurricane Dance to protect that hero. And like we said, yung Farsa as a hero, maybe pwede mo sabihin na Farsa wins games, pero pag dinagdagan mo siya ng mga complementary heroes niya, doon na talaga nagiging force to be reckoned with
That
ang
is
Farsa.
why ang sinasabi nilang iba sa akin na right now, Farsa is an S tier hero. Para sa akin, Farsa is an A plus tier hero. Because S plus heroes, S tier heroes can actually carry themselves. Pero Farsa isn't that hero na kaya niya buhatan yung sarili niya. And that is one way to actually hold on to this game. The Harith, ang daming hindi gumamit sa kanya. People have been sleeping on Harith for the longest time ngayon just to see him come back dito sa most crucial game para sa side ng BRE.
Conference 1, 100% contested rate for the Harith. Conference 2, 90+%. But season finale, 0 at the point.
Well, one pick.
One pick.
We
There was
have one pick. We have one pick.
But now, what? This is interesting kasi sometimes people tend to forget itong mga OP heroes natin. There were many times, even if you play pub matches, pag nag-first pick ka ng Harith, sasabihin sa'yo, bakit ka nag-pick ng Harith na nerf na yan or hindi na effective yan? But when you play it, you start to realize, no, this is still one of the strongest heroes out there in the right hands and in the right condition.
Yun nga yung sinasabi ko kay, nakausap ko si kay Saya kanina, sabi ko sa kanya. Sabi niya yung Kimi daw, kahit daw na nerf, medyo pinipili pa rin daw. Sabi ko, whatever happens, when a hero idea is broken,
All troops
it's broken.
deployed.
Still broken.
But there's no in between. If you nerf it to the ground, people won't use it. But if it's playable, it's OP.
Yeah.
Nasa ganun siya.
And let's see if LVJ hashtag the king, tinatawag nila.
Oh, the king.
Will he be able to use this hero para mapwersa ang game number 5 para sa Brent E-Pro? As they're playing Renzo with the Tams, VJ onto Miss Harith, Reed to export, to support JP naman sa kanyang Granger and is Reflesha onto the Hylos.
And these and the other, kanina ganito rin yung naging kaso onto the side of BRE. But right now, medyo mas nagiging mas maingat sila. Toshi still wants blood. He's trying to kick out dito si Creed. Pero sabi ni Creed, masyadong mataas yung buhay.
You know what? This is a very important rotation mula sa Brent E-Pro. Kasi the way I see PLDT Smart Omega, whenever they win games, they put their safe laner para makuha yung red buff as soon as possible. Para i-clear out niya yung minion wave sa baba and then go for the red buff. But what Brent E-Pro did is they kind of skipped.
Launch
Kaya
attack!
dito si Toshin makakuha na isang quick, but they will snag itong red buff, which is also very important for Bruno.
And look at this. Here comes the pressure. And right now, Kiraga armor is down. Toshi dito will be using the flicker. And they are at a very bad spot. Pero yung Farsa na doon sa may taas, they will just get this turret. And This is the BRE we know. They will take this turret ng maaga. Ace dito just throwing out those bombs, but those time-up won't really cut it. BRE gets the first objective of the game.
So one way for you to kind of feel the lane stabilizing power
Launch attack!
something like a Tigi is tanggalin mo sila away from the safety of their tier 1 turrets. If nasa ilalim ng tier 1 turrets ng Tigi at sa kanyang safe laner, hindi mo sila kaya. But if you force them out of that, put them in the middle, for example, middle ng tier 1 and tier 2, dapat pwera sa talagang palayo yung Tigi and its effectiveness in lane stabilization is nullified.
Now, there are arguments din, Kuya Wolf, na ganito yung sinasabi nila na mas maganda nga daw na take down agad yung turret ng maaga kasi daw mas lumalapit daw sa base. Yung ano,
That's also one
yung,
thing. That's a classic
alam mo yun,
MOBA.
that's a classic MOBA
Knowledge.
But the thing about it is, when you push out the lane, that only means na mas malayo yung tatakbuhin mo. Pero right now, Haji, Servant Spot, sabog mga kaibigan, Beat gets the kill.
Hindi rin nagtugma yung pag-level 4 ni Heat doon. Would have used the Hurricane Dance, but of course, kaka-level 4 lang niya doon. And by the time he gets his Hurricane
Turtle
Dance, he's over it.
resurrecting soon.
Hindi na niya kaya iligtas si Farsa mula doon sa last insanity. And of course, how can you actually save your teammates from the last insanity? And it's important to take note that Greed
At breaking the Hurricane Dance dito, catching out 3 heroes into 1 Hurricane Dance, that could be the deal breaker. But right now, even the others, they're actually trying to get the kill. Dapat
GG's here.
malayo doon, pero sabi ni JP, hindi mo na ako mahuhuli yan. Fool me twice. Medyo mabigat na yun.
they will be able to run away, keep their lead intact at this point. Skill VJ. Zero kills and 0 assists. But he's level 7 at this point. Hindi lang Harry. Oh! Kenji with the crossover. A bit dangerous, but it's not enough. Renzio. Nasa the counter ng Inferno at makakatakbo mula sa field Smart Omega.
And Toji dito keeping a lot of those Death Sonatas. But right now, Haji, nakita na naman siya si Grid. Si Grid talaga yung nag-iisang tao dito na magaling maghanap ng paksa. Lahat na naghahanap ng paksa binibigay sa kanya.
Was their series dapat sa Signal Ultra Warriors. It is not that different here. Para sa Brent E-Pro with the export. Dapat sa Philippine Smart Omega, but you can see that Brent E-Pro are still leading, but not to the biggest of lead. In fact, isa pa nga lang yung naging nakikita natin kill sa mapa. This is what you feel like when somebody's at match point na rin.
Alam mo yung dating kasi ng Farsa ngayon, kung bakit siya sobrang effective. Kasi there are times kasi na some people you know, just alam mo,
It's very important now. Farsa already using better airstrike. Only ang na-achieve lang nila doon is pagaling pinag-armor. Now hitting trouble. There's a summon force. Time's journey gonna be popped. But he still falls. Wala to sa ating Harris. And they might not be done this time. KLVJ though, hindi na siya magpo-proceed because the third is there. It comes Kenji. But is this a good fight? No, it wasn't. KLVJ will not be able to get a kill. There's a feathered airstrike. No one will fall mula Bro, sa hinaba-haba ng production, Father's isa lang pa rin ang namatay sa clash na yun.
but then again, Wolf, just looking at the first performance of Haji from game number 3 to game number 4, night and day ang difference netong setup na to. And right now, si Haji, he's not really getting that much impact. game. Kumbaga parang sinabi ng BRE dito, parang next na namin, force their way in. But nagiging matalino din sila dito. They do not want to make the same mistake as they did in game number 3. That was a very costly mistake that costed them the whole game.
Wow. You know what, Butters, I want to bring up a different point of view this time. I mean, PLDT Smart Omega, they're trailing behind.
Yes.
Pero I think they're doing something interesting na mukhang mag-work pa rin. They're putting Haji Z instead of the killing machine to a wave clear machine para hindi sila ma-pushan dito na Bren E Pro. And it kinda allows the Bruno to be online in a little bit of time.
Time is of the essence here para sa side ng BRE. Pero when you are delaying and they cannot get the middle turret ng maaga, it's still okay. You're still okay. Kumbaga parang ang ginagawa nila dito, it's
Turtle
all about
resurrecting
the
soon.
idea na hindi ka magbibigay ng turrets ng ganito kaaga. Yes, they lost the top lane, but at the same time, yung top lane na yan, medyo costly yan para sa kalaban mo. Because yan yung pinaka-mahabang lane para makabalik sila. And if they ever go for a bad decision na mag-initiate, mahahabol mo sila sa posisyon na yan.
Then again, Bren E Pro will not let that happen. Alam natin na meron silang Harith, and one thing that we always have to take note about the Harith is give him a little bit of time and papatumben niya yung turret. Zaman Force and Chrono Dash works wonders against turrets. That's why sobrang taas ng value talaga ng Harith even before. Kasi bukod sa teamfight potential,
Ay, nako.
and yung kanyang damage also take down objective so quickly and forget of actually, he might be forced out. That's the immortality pump. And mukhang makapalig siya dito. Oh no, not yet. He's low. The Hurricane Dance, the APT don't turn. Comes the jump. Starts turning it up. Might be doing wonders this time, but will not be able to pierce through the
Tumitas! 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 Tabs is doing work mga kaibigan! He's dito!
Two cannons.
Just in time, 2 canyons! Will this be the takedown of the
Taiman.
threat? Hindi
So
kaapot!
close.
Ginamit yung retribution!
So close for Bren E Pro. 3 kills pa lang tayo ngayon, Butters. 3 kills, 9 minutes. But Bren E Pro are getting ahead in terms of economy in such a massive way. The only one that's having a good time
Launch
out of this
attack!
Omega might be Toshi, perhaps Haji Z, but it's not gonna be enough. We'll see.
This is the most crucial part of the game for the side of PSO. Yes, things are looking grim for their side, pero this isn't a lost
Lord
cause na.
resurrecting soon.
I'm just saying that there's still a chance for PSO to come back from this. BRE, they should be careful. Hindi ganun ka-dominating yung galaw nila dito. They only got 3 kills, PSO got 0. So, ibig sabihin, any uptime na magagawa nila dito in terms of farm, hindi naman nila na-delay dito inside of PSO. But right now, look at this. Rhapsody, Tetsunada rather, will only hit once. Pero the Lord is going to be the next target for both of these teams. Crucial part na tayo kay Wolf.
Ito na, 10 minutes in. Are gonna
In
happen.
the lane, rather, near the bush, there was an attempt to actually catch out etong si JP.
So actually, ito pala yung nangyari. If you remember, game number 2, what PLDT Smart Omega did when they had the lead is not let Bren E Pro get away from their base. Bren E Pro, binigyan nila ng konting opening dito yung PLDT Smart Omega. And in fact, nakuha ng mga buffs yung PLDT Smart Omega with that little amount of time when they tried to go for the control over the Lord area. That is such a gamble mula sa Bren E Pro. And we think that PLDT Smart Omega are so happy with that kind of opening. That being said, however, Bren
You have to look at it in a way na dapat hindi na nakakalabas yung PSO dito sa may mapa. Pero, tingnan mo yung lakas sa loob nila. They still have access to the jungle. So that means there is still a big chance for PSO to turn this all around, given that they do even have the Diggy on their side.
But I would say na meron pa rin naman maraming pieces Bren E-Pro have to take note. Top lane, there's a little bit of pressure. And nakita nyo yung notification na yun. Lord has been enhanced.
The Lord has been enhanced. Medyo here, pinapalayo na sila. He will go down. Ito na ata hinahanap nila mga kaibigan. Pero nasa may pinakalikod. Joe is there. Let us see. Kenji! Easy. But right now, they will go for the comeback. The retaliation mga kaibigan. Parsing here. Still trying to deal so much damage. Haze doon. Hinahakapan niya lahat. Pero it still wasn't enough. Haze is still alive.
That's still a 1-for-1 trade-off. After a very close engagement between two teams. Now Greed will be able to run away. That was so close. But again, sobrang wounded na nga yung Bren E-Pro doon na hindi nila...
Bayam, Converge. Tama.
Kaya i-convert into a Lord take and even then, kill VJ.
Give more time to PSO para makapag-farm. Dito, si Toshi.
Parang nga nangyari doon, tinanong si Kenji, para kaninong abumabangon.
Para
Tapos
kanino,
sagot, para patay yung Ari.
Oo, ganun. Ganun yung nangyari sa kanila dito. Pero alam mo, Wolf,
I think I saw that
Yeah.
happen even before. Maybe through LPE we're in. Merong that was LPE when they also have Cho versus the Harith. And they were so down in terms of kills, but it only took like 3 pick-offs onto the Harith using the Cho way of the dragon. Isang combo lang, it was enough to take out the Neo.
oh, alam mo ngayon yung Bruno nakakatakot. Kasi masipa lang talaga yung mukha dito ng mga kalaban. Third airstrike lang ang katapat HGZ. Holding the line.
The line indeed.
Holding the line. Game number 4. Magkakaroon pa ba tayo ng game number 5? Kanina mukhang hindi na, pero ngayon, 50-50 na naman tayo mga kaibigan. PSO holding on.
Receiving so much damage. Wala kay Toshi dito. Toshi happens to use the flicker. There's the feather. There's like, Kilfish ito naman ng tatlong beses. Hurricane does it there. Gets the immortality pop. Now they have to run.
Ay, nako.
Down this time. The flesh out manning the front lines. Pero mapapalay pa siya dito ng Bruni.
Siya, matitake down talaga. Haji, one more hit. He uses the third form to actually get out.
Toshi still fights.
Immortality is there.
Grabe naman si Toshi dito. Pumalag pa rin. Last inside dito. Iwasan pa kanya. Creed, can you run away? There's the flicker. Feather there's like gagamitin na. But Kenji will have to run away this time. Renzo, tinatry niya mag-pierce sa backlines pero wala. siyang aabutan. Heat jumping away mula kay Renjo. Fights! Can he get the fourth one? It looks like he will get it! Inside! Maniac! Will we go for the Savage Greed? Already away. And nakuha ng Brenny Pro yung Lord this time. But at what expense? Already, it's my top lane. Working on the Lord is Farsa as well as Toshi. Have to be careful. It looks really safe naman for PLDT Smart Omega as they trade such valuable victories here onto that skirmish.
Even using the millisecond vulnerability before he uses the last insanity to kick out yung X-Borg at hindi na matuloy. Ano ba tong game na to? What kind of mechanics are we seeing? What kind of nuances are we seeing in this game? This is a very high-level match. Kuya Wolf.
And like we're saying, nandito na tayo sa time kung saan nag-coincide na yung power spike ng Bruno at ng Farsa. They're really scared right now. You can see, JP, when he gets into the fight, activate automatically. After there's like, sabay kuha ng Tore dito. Now Green will have to use the last insanity. Pero mukhang siya pa yung makakasama. Kenji wants to go and fight. But they can't reach him. Kenji falls for the first time. Next Sonata, gagamitin na nga dito. Isa lang ang tumama. But sabi ng Philippines Smart Omega, we want to take the inhibitor. They can feel it. They can feel the championship waters. Oh
The Grand Slam!
The Grand Slam! Buster Grand Slam! And it looks like they still will go for the screen. Naku po, wala nang pinaka-cover but still has...
Oh my goodness! And another reset for both of the teams! Pahinga naman! Saglit lang!
It's just 8-6.
Saglit lang! Pahinga lang! Saglit!
But they will not let that happen. Brenny Pro, they can feel it. Medyo nasa kanila advantage this time. There's a death Sonata. Steve smartly goes to the sides instead of straight up retreating. Oh my goodness. Butters, this feels like a very close game, but 8-6 pa lang yung kill score natin.
Hindi pa ako makahinga. Wait lang. Okay. PR dito. They're actually looking to end the game nung namatay si Toshi. Pero ang sabi dito ng PSO, lahat kami may immortality. Lahat nga sa team na to may immortality. Kulang na lang tayo din magka-immortality. Bumili na din tayo. Hindi ko alam.
At this point, hindi na nag-matter yung nangyari sa early game. It's all about the late game items right now. Sobrang importante ng Maleficor at from anybody actually. Get more damage into the turrets. Take down base structures so quicker. But all that matters right now,
Malefic Roar.
it's the Lord.
Kumuha na si JP. Kumuha si JP ng Malefic Roar.
Important. Fears really are more and more importantly, take down structures
Lord,
faster.
And
resurrecting
Twilight
soon.
Armor will be secured by Rafflesia. He doesn't want those critical shenanigans anymore. He can just limit yung damage to 700 points of HP. But right now, Reed and the others, they're really trying to take down this sword. And alam nila kung sino makakuha ng next turn na to.
He's positioned though, pero alis siya dito. Still has the ultimate range that works out. Ito na naman, kaya Butters. Taco 4 na naman around the Lord area.
Ito na, alam mo, itong GG na to, yung nagpapahirap talaga.
Kailan matagalan nila namin sa kanan ng dami. Ang garit. Kakabis. Ay, nakabuhay. Buhay.
Side ng PRE, they couldn't just go in for a good initiation. But I think Brenny Pro are happy with the result as they feel sort of controlling may Lord area. Now, Green, however, medyo nagtigil-tig ng damage dito. Has used the flicker. And no more Firaga armor. Oh, sa may backline na sa Kenji. Nandun sa Kenji sa may backline. May masisima ka na! Oh my goodness! First up! Oh, the Vision was hold up for the rest of the Safal Pasado. May immortality siya. And he was oh! Kenji! Oh, shit! Double! Nakamunin din ng Bernie Mo. There's the flicker. Let's go at the gap! Oh, she goes down! Norris back by ginamit na natin. Wanna go for Ace this time. Can they get the third kill? Mukhang kaya-kaya nila. With all the slows. Pinalo yung first! Pinalo yung first! My goodness! Oh my goodness! Doon sa may gitna nagkakabulan! Si JP! Si JP binabaril mga kaibigan naman sinisita! PJ! Oh, Kenji! Oh! Nanalo yung Harid against this show! And only hit the defense! This might be it! This might be it mga kaibigan! We are probably gonna go to game number 5! This game! Nanakit yung ulo ko! Ah! Sakit! Oh my goodness! Bren Pro! Kenji had the right idea, but LBJ stands strong at the rest of the Oh, the Lord! Oh, the Lord! Do it! He kept doing Hurricane Dance kakabigyan dito, but he will fall. There's still some minions left for Brenny Bro. At mukhang ito na nga, di ba? LGC respawns in time. Just pushing in here as well. They are just gonna go for the Lord. They are just gonna go for the Lord. Ito pala yung pakiramdam pagkasigaw ka na lang ng sigaw. Ah! Pero yun, the Lord. Where is the next objective? Sobrang important than others for both.
Ba yun? Sabi ng views, dami interrupt. Kakaroon.
And it will be slain by Bren. Reset natin yung mga analysis. Hindi na stats don't matter anymore. It's all about how they will execute better airstrike. Panimula dito mas Bren mabutan. Cross out by Hexen. So nasa apartment ng talon dito. Grease with the last insanity but he will go. Now PSO. Napupugo na sila dito ng Brenny bro. And unti-unti napatay na nila sa Toshi. Let's go fight him. Let's go guys. Forces game 5. Game number 5. Crowd goes wild. I don't know if the viewers can hear it, but I can feel the crowd goes wild. Here, sa Eastwood, and we're out of words. We're out of our voices. I'm out of breath, out of everything. I'm sure